Hello, everybody, far and wide, and welcome to this forum that looks back in time. Courtesy of Casa D18 Studios, we hope you enjoy what's being called Throwback Thursday. Over the coming weeks, months, and hopefully years to come, we hope that you will enjoy us opening the vaults and archives to look back at some of the most unique content across all of our platforms, whether it's Casa D18 Studios, the Jeff Meacham Network, NoDQ.com, my Sybil YouTube channel, The Sybil Man's Brand, and of course, FTW Productions, hosted by James Hebert at jhebertside95. It basically is just going to offer you a ton of classic content. So, with that being said, buckle up, have fun, take a seat, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling and enjoy what this Throwback Thursday has in store for you. And again, I hope that you stay tuned for many more that hopefully will come too.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to the NoDQ review here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift I am being joined once again by longtime NoDQ contributor, my good friend, good old JM Jeff Meacham, complete with sideways painting in case you guys were not aware of it, but it's artistic.
Believe it or not, it's not a painting. It's a fabric is what it is. It's not a painting itself.
Okay, well either way, it's very artistic
It's there,
in
brother.
itself.
It's there. That's it.
We are also being joined by NoDQ moderator, a good friend of the site, Mr. Tyler Joseph Smith, who needs to move himself to the left. He keeps hanging to the right in the frame.
I just need to go to the left, to the left.
No Beyonce references
Back
on this
and
video,
to the left.
or you're fired. One more Beyonce reference and you're done, pal. We'll get you replaced by, I don't know. I'll go search somebody in California to replace you.
DJ Esso.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll have another luchador on this show. But speaking of luchadors, no Virtue this week. Virtue was a very busy man. He had jury duty apparently and some other duties to take care of. So replacing him
duty.
this week, I said duty. Replacing Virtue this week is our good friend. He is back. High demand for his return. Here he is, El Virtuoso. Welcome back.
Hey, and you owe me more shows because you brought Virtue back too early. So to pay off my contract, you might see me now and again. And this is one of those times. It's going great.
True. I technically said 2 months, and I think I did 6 weeks. So, yeah, I guess we got to have a few more appearances of El Virtuoso.
At least one more Virtuoso appearance. At least one more.
Now,
I've been on a video with Jeff. I now see you, Aaron. This is my first time on video with TJS.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. El Virtuoso.
Very nice to meet you, too, senor.
All right, so, Tyler, move yourself to the left. You're still hanging to the right. I'm worried your face is going to be cut off on the frame. Virtuoso,
I'm going to staple his foot to the floor, I swear.
Virtuoso's done enough of these. He knows how to stay in the center of the frame. All right, that's perfect, TJS. Just stay like that the entire video, and we'll be good.
No flag in the background today because this was very last minute filling in for Virtue, so I apologize.
Not a problem. All right, so we had an interesting week of WWE television. WWE Raw and SmackDown Live both took place in London, England, taped shows. I got a lot of hate from people complaining about spoilers, even though you do not have to click on spoilers. Nobody puts a gun to your head, especially me, and tells you you have to go on NoDQ.com and read the spoilers. But they were up on the site. Some people are unhappy about it. This happens every now and then when WWE does the taped shows. Jeff?
That's right. No guns, no knives, no chairs. Right, Aaron?
Well, it used to be chair shots to the head.
Chair shots to the head, that's right.
Now it's just chair shots to the gut and to the back.
And records across the head and all kinds of fun stuff back in the day.
Those cookie sheets, those always made a good sound back in our backyard wrestling days.
No, literally, I literally had an actual vinyl record broken over my head in one of those fights we did. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, back on an old NoDQ.com video, Jeff actually had a record smashed over his head. The things we would do for views back then.
But it wasn't even YouTube. We just did it to be stupid. We did it for the views ourselves.
We did it for the laws. What else can I say?
Exactly, for the laws. That's all we did it for was the laws at that point.
All right, so let's get to some wrestling talk here, some WWE review, since this is the No DQ review. We'll also talk about All In, but we'll get to that later on. Let's talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and the latest developments coming off of Raw. So we now know the 8 participants, well, almost the entire 8 participants, since it's not totally clear yet who the final 2 people will be in the Money in the Bank match. On SmackDown, we had the New Day defeat the Bar, and one of the New Day members will get that last spot in the match. And then next week, we will have Big Cass taking on Samoa Joe. The other 6 spots are signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, I wanted to talk about notable names left out of Money in the Bank this year. I know Virtue has been a huge fan of Elias, and I'm sure everybody in this panel would agree that Elias is a guy that could potentially be a top star in WWE. So, El Virtuoso, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on Elias not being in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and what's his role at Money in the Bank?
They don't know what to do with him. They look at him, in my opinion, as a guy, a wrestler, who's a very good wrestler, but he's on that borderline of babyface and heel. They want him to be a heel. He can get heel heat, but the fans want to like this guy because he's good at strumming that guitar. His voice isn't the greatest, but it works for his gimmick. So I think they truly do not know what to do with Elias other than sit him in the middle of the ring and pander to the crowd. And a couple opportunities when they have somebody cut him off. Isn't that if the crowd wants to see Elias and hear him, and they have a baby face cut him off, is that really beneficial to the baby face? I don't think so. So I think Elias is just staying here, nothing big, no big feuds, no big matches. They're just going to have him and his guitar until maybe they feel the need to give him big matches. That's just my opinion. TJS?
That's a very valid point. TJS, your thoughts?
Well, I actually can't believe how far Elias has come since NXT. Because if you look at him in NXT, he didn't really do much. I mean, he was the drifter, and he really wasn't doing the the promos before matches or anything, but ever since he came to the main roster, I mean, the guy's on fire. One of the hottest acts in the company, arguably. And as far as what he's going to be doing at Money in the Bank, I actually wanted Elias to win the Money in the Bank ladder match because I think that would have been perfect for him. And then, you could have the champion laid out, Brock or whoever it may be, and then you just hear the guitar strum, and then you see Elias running to the ring to cash in. I think it would just be perfect. But he's obviously not going to be in the ladder match. Maybe he's going to challenge his twin brother Seth Rollins for the IC title. Who knows?
That's a possibility. On Raw, he got a pretty good reaction, and the thing is, Kevin Owens interrupted him right away for the heel heat. So usually it's the babyface interrupting Elias after he's run down the town and insulted everyone. But this time, people wanted Elias to sing, and Kevin Owens immediately interrupted him. I wonder if maybe WWE's thinking about an Elias babyface turn, and maybe that's why he's not in Money in the Bank. Jeff, your thoughts on Elias?
First of all, it's become very apparent that the weird crowds that happen in Canada or in England or whatever are now across the entire globe. Because everybody's been cheering for Elias, except me and except Corey Graves. He's got a good look. He can wrestle. I don't like the gimmick. And maybe that's just me being stuck in my old fuddy-duddy ways at 35, but I don't like it. I liked him on Table for Three with Jarrett and Road Dogg. That was a good show. But there's only so far the guy strumming the guitar and insulting the crowd can go, or strumming the guitar and getting interrupted by the heels can go. There's a finite point to that gimmick, in my opinion.
Well,
now, should he be in Money in the Bank? Yes, he should, because he's got that appeal. The crowd loves him. The crowd wants to see him well. Like Tyler said, he would have been a great Money in the Bank cash in. You strum the guitar, you run in the ring, you cash in. Great moment. But I think what we're going to see on SmackDown, I think he said it was next week, Aaron, between Samoa Joe and Big Cass, I think one of those two guys should not be out. I think they should both be in that match, personally.
All right, well, nice segue into our next topic. But before we get to that, actually, it looks like El Virtuoso wants to add something.
Well, I have to defend Virtue here. As you say, Aaron, he's a big Elias fan.
Yeah.
The gimmick, Jeff, from my point of view, it's a breath of fresh air. Because for once, it's not the gimmick like all the wrestlers have today. I'm a better wrestler than you are. Elias is actually doing something, and I get your point of view, Jeff, and I respect it. But I want some old school gimmicks. And here's the thing with the guitar, it does rehash Honky Tonk Man, Jeff Jarrett. So that part, maybe I see why you're saying what you do. But. Only because it's like. They can only go so far with Jarrett before they had to reinvent. I mean, it took them a while to reinvent him, but they did it. Honky, they strung Honky out like an old guitar. It just took forever for him to finally lose the momentum. And then when he did, it just kept going lower and lower and lower. It was like, okay, Honky, thanks. You still suck. Thank you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, time will tell what happens with Elias. Maybe he will go babyface at some point. Who knows? But he's really been growing on me. He's really been growing on me. I have to say, I was somewhat critical of the gimmick, but lately it's been catching on with me. It's kind of funny. With Rusev, it took everyone a while to jump on the bandwagon. Maybe Virtue took a while to jump on the bandwagon. Who knows? But then Rusev finally got cooled off, and now he seems to be gaining some momentum again. We'll see if maybe he wins Money in the Bank. But let's move on here and talk about Big Cass, since Jeff brought him up a few moments ago. Big Cass versus Samoa Joe next week for the final spot in Money in the Bank. There seems to be some heat on Big Cass. He might be in the doghouse right now. Apparently, that segment where he beat up the little Daniel Bryan, he was reportedly apparently only supposed to hit the big boot on the guy and nothing else. And Big Cass allegedly asked to throw in some punches as well, and he was told not to by several guys backstage, including Vince. But Big Cass went out there and did it anyway. Next thing you know, he loses at Backlash in a very decisive manner. He taps out to Daniel Bryan. He doesn't appear on the next SmackDown Live, and then this week he gets beat up by Daniel Bryan again, and now next week he's facing Samoa Joe. So Is Big Cass in the doghouse? Is he going to lose his momentum? Jeff, your thoughts on Big Cass and what the company's doing with him right now?
I will say it's going to get me heat, and that's fine. I don't think Cass is going to work without Enzo.
Oh.
I said that the moment he went down with the injury, and then Enzo went down with whatever the hell he went down with. Not having Enzo to come back and either feud with or reunite with was going to hurt Cass in the long run. Now, do I think Enzo's the great? No, I don't think he's worth anything at that point. But without his little buddy or his little guy to pick on, Cass is one-dimensional. He's got big guy, he's got the height, he's got the look, but his character right now is, I don't like bullies, so I'm going to be a bully instead. Like, what? It's bad. If he did it, he'd go off script, then he'd get what he deserves. Will Joe beat the crap out of him next week? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the one thing Big Cass has going for him is his size and having that intimidation factor. And now Daniel Bryan has already made him look like a fool. So the Big Cass thing that he had going for him is gone now. I mean, he just doesn't have it anymore. What does he have to offer to the table? TJS, your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to kind of counter what Jeff said about Big Cass being a bully while hating bullies. His thing is that he's a heel, so he's going to be hypocritical, and that helps the fans hate him. So they're like, oh, well, this guy's the biggest bully of them all. But the thing is, in the end, the bully is supposed to get his ass kicked. In the end, not already. Daniel Bryan's already beaten him. Like, he beat him at Backlash, and now he beat him down on SmackDown. So, I mean, that just kind of, it's backwards, because Daniel Bryan's supposed to be the underdog that chases, but he's already, he's beaten Cass twice. As far as the heat goes on Cass, I think that those reports might be true, because if you watch the YouTube clip, they cut off that segment after the big boot, and if you look at the photo gallery on WWE.com, there's no other images past the big boot. Right. So, but I don't understand, because Steve Austin always told people, go off the script, take chances, do what you got to do to impress. And now it's like everything is so by the books. If you go off the script, you get punished, and everything's just so conditioned now. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's not going to help matters, but I guess the rule is if Vince says no, you don't do it. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to make guys feel like they cannot go off the script at all. I think that the problem is that he asked to do the punches and Vince told him no, and he still did it. He went against the boss directly. El Virtuoso, your thoughts?
Guys, you're forgetting one point here. Oh, wait, that sounded awfully familiar.
Yeah, it did.
In between Daniel Bryan beating Big Cass, he got heat back by beating the crap out of Cass at the end of the match, after the match at Backlash. So if this event happened with the little guy, it's on SmackDown before Backlash, why would they let him get any heat back at that point on camera? They did. And so whose report? Were we all backstage? Did we see Vince McMahon have this discussion? Now, we can speculate by people saying certain things. Let it play out, because we have weekly television and we're so quick to jump to conclusions. Now, if he ends up getting the Baron Corbin effect, he lost some money in the bank, then we can say something happened. But let's let it play out. I mean, I am just, we hear one little tidbit of something, and all of a sudden Cass is getting buried. First of all, it's Daniel Bryan we're talking about, right? I mean, Daniel Bryan is like one of the top dogs in WWE.
Yeah, I was just so surprised by how decisively he lost at Backlash. That's what really draws my suspicion. Jeff?
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
Aaron, what Virtuoso just said, can you imagine 10 years ago even saying Daniel Bryan's one of the top dogs in WWE? Can you imagine hearing that 10 years ago?
Am I wrong, though? Or, I mean, that's the truth, right?
No. Oh, you're totally right, but Aaron and I watching him in PWG Ring of Honor, hearing that statement now, you go, wow, he's right. He's a top dog. But you wouldn't even, Bryan Danielson being a top dog, you wouldn't even think about that. You wouldn't even consider that.
Exactly.
The fact is, when Steve Austin says go off the script in 1998 and in the early 2000s, yeah, it's the attitude era. You can go off the script. When Big Cass goes off the script in 2018 and he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin level, you get in trouble. If it even happened. We don't know if, like Virtuoso said, we don't know if it even happened or not. But the fact of the matter is, you can't go off the script against Vince now unless you're Triple H, who's in charge also. Unless you're, Daniel Bryan, the top tier guys. Big Cass is not top tier, nor will he be if the rumors and the innuendo are true. Excuse me 1 second.
No, well, I think next week will be very interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think Joe should be in it more than Big Cass, and I'm really curious to see how this match plays out. Maybe they'll do some sort of non-finish and both guys end up in it. Who knows? But speaking of guys that might feel like they're cooling off right now is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, for the past couple months, has felt like he could be the new top face of the company, but as of late, he just seems to be a guy on Raw. Yes, he did win the Greatest Royal Rumble, but the last few weeks, he really hasn't done much of anything. And this past week on Raw, even though he did not take the fall, he was in a losing effort, him and Finn Balor losing against Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. So, TJS, let's start with you. Do you feel like Braun Strowman is losing his momentum, but do you feel like people, once again, like what Virtue said, people are maybe overreacting to Braun Strowman not being in the main event every single week? Your thoughts?
Well, I'm kind of hoping that Braun Strowman being in the Money in the Bank ladder match is just something to keep him busy until Brock comes back, because Braun Strowman as Money in the Bank winner, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
Agreed.
You have this 485-pound guy with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, the guy deserves a title match anyway. He just beat 49 other people in the Greatest Rumble. I mean, and you're right, guys. He hasn't done much since he won that. And they don't even announce him as the Greatest Royal Rumble winner now. He just has the trophy at ringside, which broke Monday night. So, I mean, I just don't understand it. It just makes me feel like that match, the Greatest Royal Rumble, was meaningless, like a cash grab. Jeff, you going to say something?
I was just going to say, they presented him with the championship belt. Why not have it be like Taz, the FTW belt? Well, yeah, I'm the uncrowned, they're calling Roman Reigns the uncrowned champion. Well, freaking Braun's got a belt saying he's a champion. I'd have Braun come out and go, well, this is nice and all, but I want the red belt, not the green belt. Green light, red light. Tug of war, red light, green light with the belts. Have Brock come out and go, well, this belt's nice, but I want Brock's belt. And have him say, I won the Rumble, I deserve a shot.
Or just say, you know what, until Brock shows up, I'm the champion. If Brock has a problem with it, come and do something about it.
Total Taz moment right there, because Taz went out there for over a year when Douglas was hurt and said, I'm the champion, and defended the unsanctioned title. It was amazing.
Yeah, but of course WWE guys don't do anything like that. They just hold back and nobody speaks their mind anymore. That's what I miss. We need a good pipe bomb again. We need somebody to go out there and just rip into everyone and everything and just say, I'm going to turn this place upside down.
I have a feeling we'll get a pipe bomb on September 1st in Chicago, but that's not WWE related, though.
Yeah. Well, El Virtuoso, what would you like to say about Braun Strowman's current status?
One word, one name, Nicholas.
Yeah.
It ruined it. Now, look, I saw a feud last year with one very hated and despised, and it's getting worse by the day, Roman Reigns, versus an up-and-coming star that people wanted to get behind in Braun Strowman, and they had a very, very, very good feud. Right? And then kind of got lost with the New Day and Usos feud, but it was right up there. And let's be honest, Braun was at his hottest right around that time leading into the end of 2017, and Nicholas at WrestleMania. It's no direction. It's like if your name is not Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, you're not going to get a spot. Yeah. You're not going to get a consistent spot at the top of the card. But that's really what it boils down to.
You know what? That segment, though, that showed that Braun Strowman can be the guy because he can do one of those types of segments with the kids, and that's the kind of thing that like Hulk Hogan would do or John Cena would do. Braun Strowman can be there with a kid and not get booed out of the building. So if anything, that proved he can be the top guy. As I've said before on my own videos, on NoDQ Video and NoDQ Live, I feel like Brock Lesnar needs to go in a different direction, and Braun Strowman should be feuding with somebody like Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Lesnar doesn't need it anymore. Maybe turn Lesnar face, have Paul Heyman go with somebody else. Just shake things up. We need a shake-up. We need a pipe bomb. We need something to happen to get people invested again. That's just my opinion. Braun Strowman just seems to be on a treadmill right now. Jeff?
I will give WWE credit, though. They posted a picture of it on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, advertising the Nicholas and Braun Tag Team Championship shirt. They gave Nicholas the belt. Like, there's a picture of him wearing this shirt. They gave him a belt to hang in his bedroom. I thought that was really cool. An actual full-size belt. That was neat. That's like, it was a cool moment, but like you said, Virtuoso just said it. It did show he could work with the kids and be that guy, but it also killed his badass momentum at the same time.
It ruins his credibility as a monster. Like,
and putting him with Bobby Lashley recently too, who just seems bland as heck.
Yeah.
One sister, two sister, three sisters. I'm confused. That doesn't help either.
His sisters are more popular than Roman Reigns. That's all I'm gonna say.
They did get a chant. Bobby's sisters. Clap, 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 clap. All right, so let's talk about a new tag team. Well, not really a new tag team, but they do have a new name. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, now known as the B Team, complete with A-Team chants on Monday Night Raw in London. So the question I have for you guys is, do you think this team could potentially be a major force in WWE? Now, the funny thing watching Raw is that the Revival, they're basically the setup team now for Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. And Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel mentioned possibly challenging Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy for the tag team titles. So, Jeff, you're shaking your head. Your thoughts on the B Team?
Why is this even happening? Like, why? Okay. I love Joe Henning, and I love whoever the hell Bo Dallas' real name is. I forget his name now. But they're both great wrestlers, and they both have the potential to be awesome second and third generation stars. But they've been made to be into goofs. They're goofy. And the fact that they had these two guys beat the Revival, who is supposed to be the badass, old school tag team, it doesn't work. And if they haven't challenged Bray and Matt, that's fine. You have the brothers face between Bray and Bo. It's a cool dynamic. I just don't think it'll work in the long run. So, and if I'm wrong, I'll fully admit I'm wrong.
Well, actually, let me just correct you. The B Team defeated Breezango on Raw, and Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated the Revival.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
Just correcting you on that one.
Well, that was a cluster. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the tag team division is really a joke right now, I think. And Authors of Pain were not even on Raw. I don't think they were on last week either. I'm not sure off the top of my head. TJS,
they had a dark match.
Yeah, TJS, your thoughts on the current tag team situation and the B Team?
Well, I mean, the Bludgeon Brothers, I don't think they have a challenger for Money in the Bank yet either.
No.
And they haven't had a match in quite some time. I don't think they've had a match since winning the championship, actually. And as far as the B Team goes, do you guys remember when Curtis Axel took Triple H to his limits? When Triple H was like dying at ringside. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
And
I remember.
You remember? And Curtis was a Paul Heyman guy, and everything just seemed right with the world. And now he's on the B Team. It's just a joke. It's a joke. I mean, the fact that they're named the B Team and not like the A Team, it just shows that there's just second best. And if they challenge Matt and Bray for the titles, it's. I mean, they're not going to win the championship. It's just sad. I mean, these guys deserve better. Bo was a super dominant NXT champion. Axel can go. There's nothing else I can say about this.
What happens if they do? What happens if by some crazy miracle or act of Vince McMahon they do win the tag team titles? And I also wanted to say, what about Bo Ryder? Whatever happened to him? I miss that guy.
That was super great. What if you have Bray Wyatt turn on Matt Hardy and then join up with his brother and Curtis Axel? That'd be something. You could finally get that going. I don't know. It's.
Well, I think if the B Team does win the tag titles, that's because they're going to relay them to the Authors of Catering. I'm sorry, the Authors of Pain. But not their fault. It's how do you not have these guys on TV? 3-hour show. It's not like they're on SmackDown where they give some people off sometimes. So that the good insider terminology for Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, especially at this stage in Curtis Axel's career, Jeff, you might understand this. They're good little hands.
Yes.
Hey, that could be their new catchphrase. Get these little hands.
And stop it.
They're good. They're good little hands.
I mean, the fact that Bo Dallas, who literally, whatever it was, 4 years ago, was the NXT champion when NXT was still really starting to come along and do its own thing, and now he's a good little hand. Like what? Like Joe Henning, I get that. He's been around long enough where he would be in that good little hand category, but Bo's still got a lot of youth in him.
Yeah. Well, I think that Bo Dallas should have followed the Buzzards a long time ago and gone with Bray Wyatt.
So did I.
Yeah, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. Only just complain. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, except sit here and complain and moan every week like we do anyway.
Yep. That's what we're here for. We're here.
That's why we're here, kids.
We're here to vent. Yep. The No DQ bitchin'. That should be the new name of this video series. All right. So speaking of bitching and complaining, so a big match has been set up for Money in the Bank, the Raw Women's Championship. We have Nia Jax defending against Ronda Rousey. Not just Ronda's first title match, but her first singles match in WWE, period, at Money in the Bank. Obviously, this is a controversial decision. A lot of people not happy about it. A lot of people feel that Ronda should not just be handed a title opportunity, even though in the storyline, it was Nia Jax that challenged her, and Ronda did acknowledge that there are more deserving people. So, El Virtuoso, is it too soon for Rousey to be challenging for the title?
Yes, Jeff. Trivia question here. When was the last champion that challenged a challenger?
Whoa.
I mean, like...
Yeah, exactly.
What's up with that?
10 seconds go.
10 seconds go? Oh, Jesus.
While you're thinking, I don't know either. I'm just saying. And so this was a spot. Was this a spot on NBC where this challenge came about? Was it on the Today Show?
No, it was at the NBC up front.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever it was, like the champion challenging the challenger is cheesy. Ronda is still super green in front of that camera. All she ever knew how to do in front of, I think she was in a couple movies like the, what was that? What's that?
The Expendables.
Yes, and she didn't have to do nothing but hold a gun or she didn't have to act in a movie like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And in UFC, all she had to do was stand there and look mean. But now WWE, she's trying to give this personality that's not her, and it was awkward. So from the get-go of this feud, Nia challenging Ronda, and Ronda's looking like a fan, accepting the challenge. It's not working for me. So yes, too soon, and B, it wasn't even done right. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, whatever happened to actually doing angles on television? I guess doing it this way they could get their publicity or whatnot. But I miss the old days. Back in my day, we used to actually see storylines develop on television, not on random shows, not on Twitter, not on Facebook.
Anybody remember when stuff was developed on television? Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yeah, right. Because they don't want Nia to be heel, but Nia should have clubbed her. In reality, Ronda should have done it. Ronda should have snapped. Yep. Right? Because then that can give Nia the reason to want to defend against her. But whatever.
Where's the conflict? Storylines are supposed to have conflict where two people have some sort of issue, and here it's just, we're just going to have a title match. That's it. Jeff, your thoughts on it?
This is the hot topic of the week because this is the third show in 2 days I've been talking about this. So let's go ahead and get it out there. They have booked themselves into a corner with Ronda. She has not been in the match at WrestleMania. She's not had a serious program since WrestleMania. Do they book her in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank? No, because if she loses, it's catastrophic. Does she go into the Money in the Bank ladder match? No, it's too dangerous. It's a ladder match. It's a gimmick match. You don't want to put her in one of those yet. Do you book her into a title match and have her win? Well, no, it's her first title match. Why win the first title match? The only way out of this that's safe and secure, I said this yesterday on my Instagram show, and I said it today on Talk Wrestling Live. They need to have her lose the match because Natty costs her, and then we get Natty and Ronda at SummerSlam.
There you go. Maybe Natalya wins Money in the Bank and cashes it in. and pins Nia Jax, stealing the title away from Ronda. TJS, your thoughts?
Oh, I like
I don't understand this. I watched the clip of Nia challenging Ronda. You see, I could understand this if Nia was built up as a proper monster, but she's already tapped out before, she's lost before, and she's not. She shouldn't be challenging Ronda Rousey of all people, because if she was a monster, she could say, I'm going to be the one to beat Ronda Rousey. But what is it? She's like, I'm going to be the one that gets my ass kicked by Ronda Rousey. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And, I mean, Jeff mentioned Natty costing Ronda, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that they're going to do all that, because they've already got the challenge that happened on the NBC thing. So I could see it on the news. Ronda Rousey wins WWE Raw Women's Championship after being challenged on NBC. I can just see it now. I don't get it.
Because think about it, Natty has motive, because she can go out there and, if she doesn't win Money in the Bank, like Aaron suggested, she can go out there and cost Ronda, why isn't Nia challenging me? I'm the best wrestler in the women's division. Why not challenge me for a title shot and give me a title shot? It's totally playing to Natty's heel insecurities.
I like the idea.
That hype should have been, instead of on NBC, on PBS, because it was an after-school special.
Woo! Rich Rosa bringing the heat today, baby.
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
Straight fire.
Yeah, straight fire. So, we'll talk more about this when we do our predictions for Money in the Bank, I'm sure. TJS, by the way, you need to forget about that. She never tapped out. WWE doesn't want you remembering that, so don't bring it up.
Continuity doesn't exist, I guess.
Yeah, you're supposed to forget that. Anyways, let's move on here and talk about the other big topic of the week, past 4 or 5 days, actually the past month or so. The John Cena-Nikki Bella breakup has been a hot topic. John Cena did an interview saying that he still loves Nikki. He still wants to be with her. He wants to raise a family with her. Nikki Bella responded, but didn't really say a whole lot. So what's going on with these two? A lot of people are starting to think that this is a work. It's very convenient that these interviews are going down right before Total Bellas is scheduled to kick off its new season. Very convenient. So people are suspicious, wondering, is part of this breakup a work? Is the entire breakup a work? I mean, obviously the wedding was scheduled and it didn't happen. So who knows how far WWE is blurring the lines with this situation? Who knows how much of it is legitimate, how much of it is a work? Definitely people are confused about it. So TJS, your thoughts on this? How much of it do you think is a work? How much of it do you think is legitimate?
Well, I'm not really sure. Well, I guess I do know why they would work this, so they could increase the rating for Total Bellas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, I don't know. I just feel like if John Cena actually got his heart broken, then he wouldn't be so candid and open on like a morning show about this, and he wouldn't be so open about it, talking about how he still loves her and whatnot. I don't know. It just seems like a work to me. But then again, I don't know. But there were reports that that Nikki Bella was still staying nights at John Cena's house. So maybe we weren't supposed to know that she was there, and maybe it's been, maybe they've been living together and working us the entire time. I don't know. El Virtuoso, I know this is kind of your specialty to turn it to work or not. So
well, I'm thinking of a lot of stuff. Why, if this is a work, which it's 50-50, because we're not there, we don't know. We got to assume it's legit, but it's the wrestling business. Why don't they put this effort onto their wrestling TV product? If this is a work, or just the fact that they're promoting this and talking about it, I don't understand that. I mean, it's almost like it's like Bree's going to go get a boob and a butt job, and then they're going to do the switcheroo on Cena and Bryan or something like that. I mean, that's the type of it feels like that's what reality TV is. All of it, all reality TV, even American Idol. It seems like it's all a work anymore. Maybe when it first started, they were legit competitions or legit putting a camera on real people, but it just seems like you have to assume work. It's just nature of reality television, and that's the nature of the sports entertainment and wrestling. So you have to assume work. That's my stance, Jeff.
first thing I was going to say was, I said this a long time ago working for the channel I used to work for, and it came back to bite me every time. Everything in wrestling is a work. And people are like, well, what about this? And of course, I'm like, well, that's not. And I went back and forth. Aaron and I know better than anybody how reality shows are booked, because we were involved with China when she was crashing the Surreal Life, or whatever the name of that show was. And went off script, completely showed up out of nowhere and went off script and just invaded the place pretty much. Or I'm sorry, she was on the show and X-Pac showed up, and it was. There is a grain of truth to reality TV, but a lot of it is smoke up people's asses. It's really what it is. And I have a very dear friend who's heavily invested in the Bellas and their fellas, but I hope for the true Bella Army's sake that it's not a work, or people will totally crap on it. Completely and utterly crap all over it. And it'll suck.
Are you guys excited for Total Bellas? You guys going to be tuning in for the season premiere?
I am excited for the series finale of both those shows, personally.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. You'll be tuning in. We'll all be tuning in, and that's what they want.
I will sit right here and admit I watched the first season of Total Bellas because I lived with my sister and she was a fan. Other than that, forget it.
All right.
I've only watched Total Divas.
Well, luckily for me, my ex-wife used to watch it, but ex-wife, so I don't have to put up with that stuff anymore.
You were married
There
over
you
Virtuoso? Interesting.
He was.
Six times.
That's right.
6 very successful marriages.
And all 6 ex-wives were WWE fans. Go figure that. So
I loved every one of them.
That's right. That's right.
So wait, you actually found 6 women that were WWE fans.
Oh.
But they like the John Cenas and
They do exist.
Yeah, and the Roman Reigns.
Oh, no. So they're not fans then.
Bunch of gringos.
All right, you guys ready for the main event?
Woo!
The main event is not necessarily related to WWE, although we could tie it in. All In, the event being produced by Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. They had a press conference on Sunday. They announced Rey Mysterio for this event. They also announced, Jeff, I know you're happy about this. Jeff, I love that clap, El Virtuoso.
Rey's my boy.
He is your boy. Rey Mysterio is going to be on the show, and I know Jeff is happy about this. The NWA World's Championship will be defended.
10 pounds of gold.
That is right. Cody Rhodes will be challenging for the belt that his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, once held proudly.
Twice,
right now,
baby.
the champion is Nick Aldis, a.k.a. Magnus, but that could change. I don't think they officially announced the match, Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis, because the championship could change hands between now and then. So it's just Cody Rhodes challenging for the NWA's World Championship, or NWA World's Championship. There's an S on the end of Worlds, right?
World Heavyweight Championship. Get it right, Rift.
Yeah, so they announced that, and then tickets went on sale, and in less than 30 minutes, the entire event was sold
Scalpers.
out. No,
10,000 people.
Actually, only a few hundred tickets are available on StubHub compared to a WWE event where you have thousands of tickets available. So it looks like mostly fans got tickets for this show. I was a little bit surprised that this event sold out, especially when you look at New Japan Pro Wrestling in San Francisco. They only sold about 3,500 tickets, and there's still more than half of the building available in terms of tickets for that show. But it just goes to show that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, they have developed this grassroots movement here, and they were able to pull it off, the hype. They were able to get those tickets sold. So let's talk about All In, reaction to the event selling out, and expectations for the show. Let's also point out that a few days prior to the tickets going on sale, Pro Wrestling Tees announced that CM Punk would be doing a special appearance the day before All In, which I have to think maybe helped ticket sales a little bit, maybe not a lot, but I believe there are fans out there that bought tickets thinking CM Punk just might show up at All In. So let's talk about All In, reactions to it. Who wants to go first on this one? Jeff, you want to start us off?
I will go last, actually.
Okay.
I'll go.
El
I'll go.
Virtuoso.
So I'm excited for Ray. I don't know. Did they announce who he's wrestling yet?
Not yet.
So that's so we don't even know who he's
Maybe
wrestling.
it's
like.
you.
I think this is
maybe
going
it's you,
to
El
feel.
Virtuoso.
This is going to feel like a super show of Indy. You know, Ring of Honor based. I don't know if they're going to get any New Japan guys, but it's in Chicago, and CM Punk's name is in the weekend. And so even if it's a 1% chance, if he shows up and even just cuts a pipe bomb, even if he, doesn't say I'm coming back to wrestling, he could hype up his UFC match. Wait, when is his UFC match?
Before that.
It's coming up June.
Hopefully he wins. But if he loses, I mean, that might determine a lot. Like I'm interested now in that UFC match because an 0-2 CM Punk to me is probably going to be involved physically on that card somehow. A 1-1 CM Punk might just do the autograph signing the day before. Again, just getting everybody's hopes up because who doesn't want to see CM Punk back in wrestling at this point? Everybody does. I'm also interested in. I can't believe that Cody Rhodes is legitimately having this beef with Vince Russo. Do you know how great it would be if we were all fooled? And this is not confirmed. This is my speculation. The middleman that was trying to get Russo to be at All In just to cut a promo was Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan and Vince Russo are tight. That's unconfirmed, but I believe that's the guy that was trying to talk Cody into bringing Vince aboard. And Cody and Young Bucks had none of it, and we know what happened on the internet the last couple of days. But could you imagine a Vince Russo showing up there and just the heat he would get from that wrestling fan base?
Oh, man, that would be like Vicky Guerrero.
That would be as big as CM Punk almost coming and cutting a promo.
Aaron, I disagree. Let me jump in real quick before Tyler starts. Vicky Guerrero actually has legitimate fans, actually like her. Okay.
So building up the brand, though, he has a lot. He had so many subscribers when he had that whole fiasco leaving Podcast One, that new network he's on crashed because of the data stream. They actually had to go to a different website. So you can't just say that's a niche fan base. He's got a big fan.
Speaking of crash, I don't know what happened with Jeff, but his picture just froze. It looked like he swung his hand and maybe knocked his webcam out of.
But you know what? When he comes back, let him finish what he was going to say, and I won't say anything because I know. Reading comments on your No DQ videos, I know there are a lot of Russo fans, so I want to see them eat up Jeff, depending on what he's got to say.
I don't think Jeff's too much of a Russo fan these days because he just left us.
Oh man.
All right, TJS. Well, I guess. Well, wait. Here comes Jeff. He's coming.
Oh,
back.
here he comes.
Well, TJS, go ahead and start giving your thoughts. Hopefully, this doesn't mess up the video because last time Skype completely got glitchy once somebody accidentally signed off. Welcome back, Jeff. TJS,
okay. All right. Very good. All right.
TJS is going to give his thoughts here.
All right. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
As far as All In selling out in less than 30 minutes, I was very surprised. I kind of wasn't expecting the show to sell out, but it did. And I think it's interesting that if you look on the poster that CM Punk is featured on, it says All In Weekend. It doesn't just say Saturday, whatever. It says All In Weekend. So, technically CM Punk is kind of involved in this event. So, like El Virtuoso said, maybe an 0-2 CM Punk will get physical at All In. And I was going to say that if they were to announce CM Punk beforehand to wrestle or whatever, that would sell the show out, but they don't even need to. So now he can be a surprise. We don't know now. So I don't know. Is the main event supposed to be Cody challenging for the NWA World Championship, or is there a different main event?
I would guess the Bucks is going to be the main event at some point.
It all depends on where CM Punk's heart is in wrestling. But, I mean, could you just imagine if he came out and did the GTS to
Russo.
Kenny Omega?
No, imagine Russo coming out and just pissing everybody off. The place is about to riot. They're angry that Russo's there. And then CM Punk comes out and hits the GTS on Vince Russo.
Perfect.
That works, too, because that is...
And Punk doesn't have to wrestle. So Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, if you guys are hearing this,
say a word.
That would be
Is
money.
is that rocket science? No,
Somebody
there.
tweet this to Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. Have Vince
We'll
Russo
get
come out there
blocked.
and have CM Punk. Yeah, well,
Block me.
Cody already has me blocked anyways. But Jeff, your thoughts on all this?
I am wishing now that I didn't book my trip to Vegas so soon because I'd like to go to Chicago and see All In. It's going to be a fun night for wrestling fans. Wrestling fans, not sports entertainment fans. It's going to be a fun night and a fun weekend for everybody involved. I know Aaron's going, I'm in Chicago in June, not September. Damn it. So, it's going to be a fun for all. There's no question about that. I would love to see Punk show up. I'd love it if he even didn't show up, honestly, because the Bucks and Cody don't need CM Punk there. If anything, CM Punk needs some sort of publicity outside of getting his ass kicked in the octagon. So
I don't know. I disagree. I'd like to see that event. Tickets go on sale without CM Punk attached to it in any way, shape, or form. I'd like to see that.
No, I would like to see CM Punk show up as a surprise. I'm not saying I wouldn't see that. The thing is, they don't need CM Punk on this show. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be fine, but I'm sure people are going to expect him to be there, especially now that he's going to be on the weekend signing for Pro Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling Tees is in Chicago. He lives in Chicago. It's not like it's going to be out of town for him. So it's
Jeff, do you think that that they would have sold out under 30 minutes if Punk wasn't announced then?
30 minutes, probably not, but definitely that day.
I think it would have took a few days. That's my opinion. Without CM Punk.
The Bucks and Cody have been talking about this for months and months and getting the roster built, and then they have, Billy announces that they're going to have the NWA Championship there. It's been building, and they sold out. And again, CM Punk being there is a huge maybe. It's a huge, oh my God, this might happen. But I feel that the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Cody Rhodes, or Cody, whatever, are the draw themselves. These three guys are what brought 10,000 people into the arena.
Why is the Cow Palace struggling to sell for New Japan? Is it that much different? There's no CM Punk on that show.
There's no CM Punk on that show.
In that weekend.
But at the same time, a lot of American fans and non-independent fans don't really identify with the Bucks, don't identify with Cody, and don't identify with the Japanese wrestlers at all. It's the hip thing to like the Bullet Club. It's the hip thing to like Kenny Omega and the Bucks and Cody. But a lot of WWE fans don't feel the need to be hip and cool. We like WWE. We're going to go sell a place out with Roman there and with Cena there, and that's cool, but New Japan's here, and that's cool. Ring of Honor is a thing, but we don't really care. The mainstream wrestling fan does not care about anything going on outside the WWE bubble. Am I saying that's right? Absolutely not. I think that's bogus. I think people should give other companies and other federations a chance. But Cody, damn it, the Bucks and Cody generated this buzz over the course of the last year, and they've really built this up to the point where people feel that they need to be at this show.
Yeah, and I also think that there's a theory about fans being more into wrestling on the East Coast. It's a bigger deal for people in Chicago and Toronto and New York City, Philadelphia, San Francisco. They did have a big wrestling scene years ago, but it's not quite as big as it used to be. So that could be a factor. And also, there was just a New Japan show in Long Beach a couple months back. So California fans, they already did their New Japan show, and it's maybe too soon to be doing another one in California.
And you have to remember, wrestling outside of the WWE or the WWF back then, west of the Mississippi, fell on its ass in the 80s. Completely just went under. You had the WWF, you had Jim Crockett Promotions, but they were both primarily East Coast based, and neither one of them, more often than not, went west of the Mississippi until, the late 80s, early 90s. So, and Crockett never did. It was, by the time he did it, was WCW. So the fact of the matter is, we out here in California have been, jonesing for something like when PWG popped up. It was amazing for us because we have the West Coast Ring of Honor, and people in Chicago are the hardcore, they're the people that, went to WrestleMania 2 and WrestleMania 13. And yes, WrestleMania 13 was awful, but they also went to Money in the Bank when Punk won the title in Chicago.
Yeah.
They went to that show, and the wrestling fans, since CM Punk left WWE, the Chicago fans have been screaming for his return. The fans, period, but when they go in Chicago, they scream his name to the rafters. They want something different. They want a change, and the Bucks and Cody represent that change.
Agreed.
Aaron, you were at that UFC fight in Cleveland. What did CM Punk come out to? I can't remember.
Cult of personality.
Absolutely.
What do you think would happen if that played and he came out during the actual event? Do you think that it would just blow? I mean, would that always
They would go bananas.
When was the last time we had that in wrestling?
It's been a while.
Maybe not even close to that level. Maybe Jericho's surprise entrance at that one Royal Rumble in Arizona.
Hardy's at WrestleMania 34 or 33. I mean,
the last time we got a pop like that where it was completely out of the blue was Jericho showing up on that video screen in Japan late last year.
That too.
So, the fact of the matter is, the jaded wrestling public, like we are on this video and like we are every week on these videos, want something besides the McMahon machine. Do we like WWE's product? Not all the time, but we still watch because we still got to do our thing, and we still have to feel the need to bitch about something. That's why we watch WWE. But people, I swear to God, if I had not booked my trip to Vegas already, I would literally be saving more money and finding a way to get to Chicago for September 1st. I would.
Yeah. And I also think with New Japan and All In, I think like a lot of the fans, if they had a choice on the East Coast, they're just going to go to All In, and maybe that's why the New Japan sales were a bit disappointing, because a lot of the fans that would have gone otherwise opted to go to All In because they're in Chicago or they're in New York or Philadelphia, and it's just easier to get there.
Yeah, people don't realize about the way the country's laid out. People think that everything's so far from everything. We're out here we're on the West Coast, Aaron and I. We're far from freaking everything. But when you get into Cleveland and Cincinnati and Chicago, they're all kind of right there within a few hours drive. It's not like you're driving across the country to go from Pennsylvania to Ohio or Pennsylvania to Illinois. They're all right there. So the East Coast fans, like you said, are definitely drawn to the Midwest, to Chicago, to Ohio, things like that, rather than fly all the way around the world or fly across the country for New Japan in California, New Japan in Japan. They don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a lot more densely populated on the East Coast.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we had a great discussion today on the No DQ review. We'll go ahead and wrap up this video. Feel free to leave a comment on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. Let us know what you thought about the video, what you would like us to talk about. Throw some topic ideas. Let's go ahead and do the plugs. TJS over at NoDQ.com/TJS. Anything you would like to promote?
You can always follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and at NoDQ_TJS. That's as well as YouTube. And I'm going to bring this up. You see the beach ball back there in the background of Aaron. Do you still have beanies, Aaron?
I have a couple.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and email Aaron at nodqmisc@gmail.com. Ask him about those beanies. Ask him about that baseball cap right there that good old JM's wearing. Tell him you want those.
Well, we're working on those right now, and the shirts, of course. I got you the shirts, of course, and tees.
Yeah, tell them you want those. Go to NoDQ.com/shirts. You can pick up the NoDQ video shirt that Aaron's wearing, NoDQ.com shirt that El Virtuoso's wearing.
How about one of these shirts without the logo, stupidly upside down, but just like this, that says El Virtuoso.
Ooh,
anyway,
I think that
I just
red and green letters. Red and green letters.
Yeah. Sounds good. And NoDQ Meacham Mayhem shirt right there that good old Jeff is wearing. You guys should just go do it. I mean, he's got great shirts, great deals. Yeah. Jeff, NoDQ.com/shirts, right?
Yes.
All right, Jeff, get those plugs out.
Is it my turn? Okay. NoDQ.com/Jeff. You can find my, I believe my Twitter through that page, right? Am I correct, Aaron?
Yeah, it goes to your Twitter.
Here's my Twitter. Okay. So Instagram, same thing, _Jeff Meacham. I would like somebody to find a way for Aaron and I to be live after Extreme Rules together, because I'm going to be in Las Vegas that night. Sunday night, July 15th. I will be in Vegas. I would love nothing better than have a live background shot of the strip behind me. doing a live review with Aaron.
That would be cool.
Find a way, people. Get Hangouts to freaking work.
Yeah. El Virtuoso, do you have anything? I know you do not have a NoDQ.com URL.
No, but I'm going to give you Aaron Riffs at Aaron Rift and at NoDQ.com, DOTCOM, because you can tweet him saying you'd like to see that shirt. And also, go give Virtue a hard time, because I know he loves that on Twitter, but because I don't do any of that social media stuff. So I think it's at, Aaron, help me out here, at NoDQ Virtue.
NoDQ _Virtue, or just NoDQ.com/Virtue.
There you go. Okay, there you go, boss. Take it over.
All right, so thank you to everyone for being on the panel today, and thank you to everyone for watching. We will see you guys next time for another edition of the NoDQ Review.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Let's see. Burger or sausage? Burger.
I mean, it's not going to matter when it comes to your diet, huh, buddy? Hey, how's it going, kiddo?
Well, I was wondering when you were going to just raid my freezer and fridge.
Okay, so I was just in the neighborhood and I wanted to say hi. I'm looking for some, parameters that you might be working on, good sir.
Yeah, you done?
Not yet. You're fat.
All right, cut the bullshit, Lars. What do you want?
I'm just looking for some content, because, I'm fucking bored and I'm living in a fridge.
You want content?
Yes, of course I want content. So do the people, you dumbass.
The people want content too? Okay.
No shit.
If I feed you content right now and what's upcoming and what's already on FTW Productions, will you leave me the fuck alone?
Okay, maybe just for today, but probably I'll come back tomorrow.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Coming up this week on FTW Productions, we got AEW Spark and WWE Aftershock. WWE Aftershock, hosted by yours truly. God damn it, I watched a bunch of WWE content. I wanted to kill myself. But also, Noah Foster and Zero covering all the AEW stuff on AEW Spark. So go check that out on Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated, along with a bunch of retros for this upcoming week of Wrestling Madness. Because we got Impact Unbreakable 2005. We got Double or Nothing 2019. We got WWE Battleground 2013. And we got Night of Champions 2012. All retros are done and in the can for your enjoyment. 2 of them out now, and 2 of them premiering this week. Speaking of premieres and lives, Noah Foster has got 4, count them, 4 premieres coming up this week on the Simple Man's brand.
Simply predicting.
It's WWE NXT Battleground, WWE Night of Champions, AEW Double or Nothing, and Impact Under Siege. All that coming up and so much more. And hey, if you're sick and tired of the wrestling, well, guess what, Lars? I know you like food, so do I, and so does Casey. The fat fucking aficionados, we got you covered because we cover fast food and restaurants on Wrestling with Idiocy, Episode 8 on Insanity Works Incorporated. All that coming up and so much more on FTW Productions.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, my dude.
All right, you fucking happy now?
I mean, I'm semi, erect at the moment.
All right, cool. Get the fuck out of my fridge. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Oh, don't throw the... Wait, well, what about the brownies from 2B? You fat, no-dick-having motherfucker.
I heard that. Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's brand.
Gentlemen, we are ATW, but we are definitely all elite. We are now over practically 48 hours removed from what I believe was this year's S rank. I said S rank pay-per-view. Did AEW knock it out of the park? In my personal opinion, as a professional wrestling fan for life, you're damn right. But that's just me, and I digress. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another ATW View. We are ATW. I am the simple man here. My name is Noel Foster, once again with a fine group from the ATW crew. Shout out to the entire family. With me tonight on this AEW pay-per-view review. How's that for a tongue twister for you? I say, he's back, and he's still funny as ever, man. It's, of course, the preacher man, MMA expert, Casey Flynn. Casey, of course, deepest condolences for you and your family. We love you, brother. It's good to have you and your charm back. How are you?
Fine to you, and thank you all. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Again, that's what family is all about. And again, my voice is still shot from doing commentary on the Jeff Meacham Network. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be back with the Jeff Meacham Network this weekend for play-by-play for Turning Point, and maybe something that's happening in the following day. I haven't decided yet. Depends on my mood. But I digress. Also with me, of course, he is the All Elite King. Though, since we did our first ever All Elite League, you might now be the Prince. Nah, I'm not going to take that moniker from you, brother. But hey, good game, guys. Good game. I beat y'all by literally 1 point. But I digress. Good stuff.
Yes, you did.
With that being said, folks, it's of course my brother in Bullet Club, King A Train, Anthony. Anthony, how are you? Holy shit, what a weekend we went through.
That was one of the best pay-per-views I have ever seen, and we just had All Out back in September, but we'll discuss more into that. Oh, and shout out to G Fuel, even though I'm not sponsored. Shout out to G Fuel for this review.
There you go, folks. He's looking for a sponsorship, and he drinks the stuff like I drink the dew. So if you're looking for somebody to, be there with your drinks, he's the guy to look for too. But yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. With that being said, gentlemen, yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So I feel the primary point of this discussion, of course, on the ATW View this time will definitely be what you see going across my monitor. Full Gear, an incredible 10-match spectacle of professional wrestling, variety, passion, intensity galore, top to bottom. With that being said, let's start slowly, of course, with the buy-in, because, well, that was the first match that happened. We, of course, have preview of the upcoming TBS tournament matches with Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose, who, of course, previously faced each other one-on-one for the championship, which, of course, Shida won. And we also have on the other side of things, Thunder Rosa versus, who you see right there, Jamie Hayter. I must admit, it was weird seeing Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose tag for the first time ever, but honestly, they had pretty damn good cohesion. And I can only imagine what was going through the professor's mind at ringside during this match, who definitely, I feel like, still plays a mind game on Hikaru Shida, and I definitely see those two mixing up again. I hope sooner rather than later. But I thought overall this was a good tag team opener and a good preview because it was Nyla Rose's power. I felt like that's her greatest strength, but ultimately was her downfall here too, as a simple roll-up counter maneuver gave the opposition the win for Thunder Rosa and Shida. But good stuff, and you gotta wonder, will Shida's knee be at 100%? Casey, your thoughts on this buy-in opener?
All right. The buy-in opener tag match with Jamie Hayter, Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. I thought it was awesome from top to bottom, and Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida got excellent chemistry as a tag team, and I was surprised Hikaru Shida's knee held up very well in that tag match, and I literally thought Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose is going to win this tag match over Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. But Hikaru Shida and Jamie and Thunder Rosa winning, I thought it was very good. The tag match, a buy-in match, but the real mystery remains is how will Hikaru Shida's knee hold up in this Wednesday's match for the TBS Women's Title semifinal versus Nyla Rose, because Nyla Rose is a test for Hikaru Shida this Wednesday night. And do you think Nyla Rose is going to go to work on Hikaru Shida's knee? Damn right I do, because that's where Hikaru Shida's weakness is in her knee. And Shida's knee is going to be worked on a lot to slow down the speed of Hikaru Shida. But can Hikaru Shida beat Nyla Rose in a strength game? Absolutely not. Can she beat Nyla Rose in a speed match? Most definitely. But if Hikaru Shida wants to beat Nyla Rose, she's got to use her speed against Nyla Rose. And if Nyla Rose wants to beat Hikaru Shida, she's got to slow down Hikaru Shida and take the speed away from her. But we'll see how this plays out this Wednesday night between Shida and Nyla Rose. But anyway, it's going to be a good match between them, and the buy-in tag match was awesome before the pre-pay-per-view got underway.
I liked your technical points too, definitely previewing what could really be the outlook and the strategy that Nyla Rose might implement. But again, that Bushido, that fighting spirit, you never counted Hikaru Shida out. King, your thoughts regarding this match? And since he talked about the Hikaru Shida and the Nyla Rose match, we look at the perspective of course, the other side, Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter. We saw the two kind of clash a little bit with each other here too. So give me your thoughts towards that as well.
That was a nice little showing between Thunder Rosa and Jamie Hayter on the buy-in in that tag match, because it gave us a little preview of what's to come, which I think it might be happening on Rampage. If I were to predict, maybe Rampage, maybe the next week's Dynamite, because it kind of ties in with Thunder Rosa's history with Britt Baker, if you look at it, because Jamie Hayter is the assistant to Britt Baker, the doctor herself, of course, which she retained, which we'll talk more about that.
Especially you.
Which basically... Yes, we will. It basically, when I look at it, it's basically like, how shall I put this? Like, if that match gets when that match for that their match gets announced for either, like I said, Rampage or Dynamite, I have a feeling that Rebel or Britt will try to get involved in that, because, like I said, there's history between. If you look at it, it could be an extended, history of, Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa's rivalry, because if I were to predict this, I could say Rebel will probably interfere in that match and have Jamie Hayter move on to the semis. But it gave us a little clash. It gave us a little preview of what's to come in their match in the TBS Championship, a Women's Championship tournament. And basically, with all of these four women, basically clashing it out, and give us a little preview of their matches to come, especially Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose. Let's not forget, guys, these two got history because of the fact that, Hikaru Shida was the one to dethrone Nyla Rose in the AEW Women's World Championship last year. So Shida's going to have to bring it, what brought her to the dance, to dethrone Nyla, but also Nyla might have a counter to get Shida as well. And let's not forget, Serena Deeb might be at ringside for this one as well, because let's not forget, Deeb is still holding that grudge on Shida for not moving on to this, for not moving on to the TBS Women's Championship. But overall, this was a good match to get us going for the buy-in of what was the main card still yet to go. What everybody was excited for the match to kick off, which we will talk about.
Yeah, and I must say, again, with Deeb's influence there, that really was the turning point, no pun intended, with that being the Saturday, of this match when Vicky Guerrero, of course, lying, cheating, and stealing the Guerrero way. Might I add, this pay-per-view was taking place from a place very near and dear to the Guerrero family, which I'm sure we're going to highlight throughout the night, because we definitely saw that machismo and Latino heat on multiple occasions, but I digress. Anyway, it was Vicky Guerrero using Shida's kendo stick on the vulnerable knee. That definitely was the turning point here that nearly did give Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter the win. But again, it was Shida's resourcefulness and awareness countering Nyla Rose's power, and she got the roll-up victory. So again, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. And looking at the tournament, you would think it's almost black and white when you look at these matches. Jamie Hayter, Thunder Rosa. If the Britt Baker thing does not coincide, you would think you would see maybe Thunder Rosa and Jay Cargill in the next round. Or do we finally see Red Velvet overcome Jay Cargill in an out of nowhere situation? Because those two can't wait to beat the holy shit out of each other. I'm just going to say that right now. And could we get a kind of unique classic where Red Velvet takes on Jamie Hayter? There's still that suspension of disbelief that we don't really know which way this tournament's going to go. And when you look at Nyla Rose and Carl Shida, either one of those ladies could face Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. And Chris Statlander, of course, has history with Nyla Rose, previously facing her for the AEW Women's World Championship last year at AEW Revolution. So there's a lot of different things to think about here when you think about what could be the results going forward. So again, this women's division, though, the depth and just the unpredictability and the potential, it just keeps on making us want more and really wonder, what is the future of not only the TBS title, but maybe the next challenger to the AEW Women's World Champions reign? But again, I'll have to wait and see. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and go right into the show as we really kicked off the pay-per-view in a way I was not expecting, but honestly, this was probably the best match to open the show with two AEW originals, two pillars of AEW, self-defined by Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, coming out, of course, Ric Flair-esque Macho Man, Randy Savage type robe, and all the overloaded ego bravado in the world, to a very, of course, down-to-earth, simple, just does this for a living, will literally do this till he dies mentality. Darby Allin, a nice black and white vigilante type package where apparently MJF burned in a car fire crash. And he came out with a different look, came out with Sting, but Sting simply just gave him the fist bump and the two went at it on their own. Now, before I give, of course, my points about this incredible wrestling clinic, this was a hell of a wrestling match. Let's kick it off with you, King. Your point and moments and thoughts about this match overall.
For the people that want to say that Darby Allin is just a stunt man and that he can't like wrestle on the mat and it's not a technician in the ring, boy, did he prove you guys wrong, because not only Darby can do what Darby does best, but he showed you why he can wrestle with the likes of MJF and can take it to the mat and become a technician. Because I did not expect Darby to use a figure four leg lock in that match. I did not. I was completely blown away at the fact that he used the figure four. And plus, MJF kept talking about it, saying, I can beat Darby Allin with a side headlock takedown. And that's exactly what he did. But he did it with the most obvious MJF type way by, having the ref distracted, and then use the diamond ring and clock the Darby, and then, of course, with the side headlock takedown with a 1, 2, 3. But this was a wrestling clinic, and this was a good way to open up the show because it got the crowd in Minneapolis hot and ready to go to see what the pay-per-view had in store. But overall, this was basically one of the best matches to kick off the show, and two of the four pillars of AEW, showing you why that the future of this company will always continue to grow, will always continue to thrive. No matter what happens, you will always look at these two out of the four and say, you know what? I like this. And I like MJF. I like Darby. But you gotta hate MJF, because he's MJF. But this was a good way to open up the show.
All right, fair enough. Casey, you saw the mat-based wrestling. You saw the technical counter attacks by both men. You saw Darby Allin, though, take a few reckless bumps, going for the coffin drop 3 times, finally hitting on the third. But MJF also left himself in a vulnerable state after Darby Allin basically worked over that knee. MJF put his own body on the line using his knees, really couldn't capitalize from that point. Then all hell broke loose. But between the 15 different near falls we had at one point, and the men literally rolling around the ring in a ball and literally Roman knuckle lock test of strength, bridging out of spinning combinations, testing each other for submissions. MJF trying, of course, apply that Fujiwara salt of the earth armbar. These two men literally brought forward what we were expecting this to be, per MJF's words and per what Darby Allin promised. And that was a wrestling match. But at the end of the day, if the record books will show that MJF out-wrestled Darby Allin, because what the ref didn't see, it didn't happen. But even in defeat, again, I don't think this hurt Darby Allin. I think it just escalated him even more. Your thoughts on this match?
The match between Darby Allin and MJF that opened up the show.
Yes.
I thought MJF when he came out. I mean, he came out as most arrogant son of a bitch heel that you would ever see in your entire life. And the guy is great at playing a bad guy better than anybody else, and you know it. And Darby Allin, I thought it had a great vigilante storyline trying to take down the bad guy and MJF here. And MJF and Darby Allin put on a great technical wrestling match at the beginning. It's very good and all that. And MJF, I mean, Darby Allin, when you get down to it, Darby took a lot of risk in this match because that's who he is. And Darby, one spot that was very brutal in that match that made me went was the coffin drop on the ring apron. And I thought to myself, dude is going to wake up with a bad back tomorrow morning. And I thought to myself, Darby Allin has a lot of guts to be doing all these crazy spots and all this. But Darby Allin, even though he wrestled his ass off, but just like that, MJF in the most typical MJF villain fashion way got him with that damn ring. 1, 2, 3. And once again, MJF proved the whole world on why he's better than you, and you know it. And Darby Allin, everybody wants to say that he's Darby's just not but a stunt man and all this and all that. But Darby is more than a stunt man. He showed you why this guy he could go inside a wrestling ring, because Darby Allin may not be the biggest guy. He may not be the strongest guy, but Darby Allin, for his size, is fast as hell. And he can go in that ring and he can always give you 100%. And same with MJF as well, because when MJF talks a lot of shit before big matches, one thing about MJF is he knows how to back it up, and I admire that 100%.
Can't argue that. Very well said, Casey. Again, MJF, he now has beaten all 3 pillars of AEW. So I feel that, honestly, at this point, his bravado is going to back him up, and he will probably challenge for the AEW World Championship next year. I just wonder also how much longer he's going to hold on to that ring, because December is coming up, and that means that diamond ring will be on the line again. But it also begs the question, who else could hold the ring in such a way that is such an advantage and a statement by them too? It's almost like this ring has defined this man since day one in AEW. Of course, it wasn't one on day one, but you get my drift. But overall, yes, an absolutely incredible match. Of course, Sting also did come out when the Pinnacle tried to get involved and ran them off. So, of course, we had a little bit of that escapade, and that's when things did break down. Ref was distracted, and MJF had the ring this time in his knee pad. And yes, he KO'd Darby Allin. But again, Darby Allin came this freaking close, especially after hitting that coffin drop over MJF's knees. I felt if Darby Allin could have followed up on the pin on that, it would have been a different result. But still, an incredible way to set the pace of the night as far as a standard professional wrestling goes. Good stuff. All right. So as we move on from there, we go into our first championship match of the night as the AEW World Tag Team Championships was on the line as FTR, the current AAA Tag Team Champions, challenged the Lucha Brothers that were ready to go to war, it seemed, in this type of entrance. I really like that. And the Lucha Brothers, of course, Penta, Cielo Nieto, and Rey Phoenix with Alex Cabrejantes in their corner. Tully Blanchard, of course, being the X Factor in FTR's corner. I must say, this was another very interesting match. It definitely did not feel as hard or as long or as deep as last year when it came to FTR versus the Young Bucks. But considering how long that match was teased before AEW was a thing, I kind of understand that. But considering also how short term, when you think about how this match was booked between these two teams, Not necessarily the fact that FTR has been basically just wanting to get these titles back since last year's Full Gear, I might add, where they won the tag gold in the first place. I thought this was a good match and a great clash of styles, and in the end, they try to pull off some LaFrog's tactics that bite them in the ass. As, of course, we finally got the package pile driver on the non-legal man, I believe. And the Lucha Brothers did retain, but there was some crazy spots here. Casey, your thoughts on this tag match and some of the moments that made you go, oh my gosh.
The Lucha Brothers and FTR tag match for the AEW tag titles. I thought to myself, it was a great tag match from start to finish. And FTR gave the Lucha Brothers one hell of a fight. And I fought with the near 3 count. I thought it was going to be top guy time once again. Once FTR looked, because it looked like FTR was closing in on AEW World Titles. But at the last second, Lucha Brothers kicked right out and showed them, we're not, you think you're going to end our reign? Not this quick. And Lucha Brothers and FTR, I mean, there's a lot of it, there's a lot of oh my God moments in the match and holy shit moments. And
Yeah.
I was amazed by the whole match itself. And I think there's one spot in that match that was so good. I can't remember what it was, but my face and my jaw was like,
I think I know the spot. Was
and
it the attempted Paco's Pride Driver double stomp that instead was a trampoline off one of FTR's butts and taking out the other half of FTR and Penta hitting the Paco's Driver on his own for the ultimate near fall of the match?
it was, yeah.
That's what I thought it was. The first time I've seen Lucha Brothers do something different in that spot. And again, Ray Phoenix can bounce off anything.
Of course he can. Ray Phoenix and the Lucha Brothers are known as high flyers, and damn, I was amazed by the tag match from start to finish, because both of those tag teams gave it 100% and gave it their all. But the Lucha Brothers ended up prevailing and retaining the AEW World Tag titles, because I had the Lucha Brothers winning that match, because it was way too soon for them to lose the AEW World Tag titles, because they already won them last month inside of a steel cage match off the Young Bucks.
Well,
there's no way in hell.
In August, botch, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
September, another botch.
Oh, dang it. Thank you.
Damn. It's all right.
We're tired. It's all good. Continue, Casey.
Anyway, Lucha Brothers and FTR tag match was an awesome tag match for the AEW World Tag titles from start to finish. And I was surprised that that FTR didn't bust out a shatter machine in the middle of the tag match.
Callback.
I was very surprised at that. And yep. And that's all.
I mean, well, actually, not callback. They call it Big Rig now in the name, of course, the late great Brother League. I rest his soul,
Big
John
Rig.
Huber.
Damn it, another botch. Big Rig.
We're gonna probably be doing that throughout the night. I'm just waiting for somebody to call someone's name wrong, and it
Big
probably
Rig.
likely will be me.
Big Rig.
Yeah. But,
sorry, FTR, it's Big Rig.
Yep. Top guys. King, your takeaways from this match. We all called it right, but FTR came that damn close.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like you touched on it, Ray Phoenix can basically just fly off anything. I'm still waiting for that match with him and Dante Martin. Tony Khan, please make it happen. But there were a few spots I could take away from, and you already mentioned one of them. Another spot was when Dax was trying to go for the Three Amigos, but he stopped that too. And Penta counter, and it was like, let me show you how to do it, how we do it, how we represent Eddie Guerrero. And that was one of the few spots that we that they showed of Eddie, was when Penta hit the three amigos, and then Ray hit the frog splash, and that was a 2 count. I was like, they're gonna win off of the three amigos frog splash combo, and I was like, oh my god. But I was like, okay, this is how you do tag team wrestling, because folks, like I've always said before, AEW has got the tag team division on lockdown, because when it comes to tag team wrestling matters in AEW. And how Ray Phoenix walks them ropes, I don't see how he do it when him walking the ropes and just basically like penalty kicking somebody while walking through the ropes. I gotta let him teach me how to do that, but I might bust my butt. But overall, yeah, it was a controversial win. Some people will call it controversial because it was the non-illegal man, which was Cash and not Dax with that assisted fear factor. But it seems like this is 2 times now. Yes, it's in the record books, but now this is twice now that FTR has lost at Full Gear, because last year they lost to the Bucks. Yep. Now this year they lost to the Lucha Bros. And it's like, it's Full Gear FTR's kryptonite. No matter how much they bring it to a certain tag team at Full Gear, whether it be the Bucks, whether it be the Lucha Bros, is Full Gear really FTR's kryptonite? Because they can't seem to win at Full Gear, no matter how much they bring it to the table, no matter how much they bring the fight. And it's like I said, this is twice now that they've lost at Full Gear. And it kind of makes you wonder, though, just a little bit. But overall, this was a great tag team match. And of course, in December, these two will run it back. But this time it will be for the AAA Tag Team Championships at Triple Mania in December, when these two will meet once again. Not in AEW, folks, but in AAA.
There you go. Yeah, because no doubt that Lucha Brothers definitely claim their stakes that we're getting our titles back. But as far as FTR goes, yeah, they definitely got a beef. And I feel like this definitely is not over. At this point, though, since you did say it's basically 2 times Full Gear, but it's also 1 FTR, 1 Lucha Brothers, it wouldn't surprise me if the next match is a 2 out of 3 falls. It sounds like it's the only logical way to go at this point. But again...
Oh, and also before I didn't mean to interrupt you, dude.
Go ahead, man.
There was a nice callback, and I think I'm the only one that noticed it, was when FTR did American Alpha's assisted backdrop suplex in that match.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They didn't even do anything American Alpha based last year. That's a good, because again, we know how far they went with American Alpha in that feud. And the thing is, FTR has been on point on interviews saying we kind of carried American Alpha through that because they got winded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan got winded at the time.
But still, that match in NXT TakeOver Dallas, and then the follow-up on NXT TakeOver the End, classics.
Yes, indeed. Yes, Lord, they are.
The good days, but I digress. All right, great stuff, gentlemen. And again, congratulations to the Lucha Brothers retaining the AEW Tag Team Championships and a great tag showing, and hell of a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. And before I move on, let's go ahead and talk about the symbolism of why are we talking about Eddie Guerrero from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, I think I always am the guy that talks about all the history, all the stuff like that, but this isn't about me. This is about wrestling. King, take it away. I want you to simply state the facts and some of your favorite memories of the late, great Eddie Guerrero.
Oh,
yeah, we're going in a different tangent.
Yes, we are. Man, I used to watch this dude as a kid. And back in 98, watch him in WCW, man. I mean, he was one of the main people I watched that I was so intrigued in WCW's Cruiserweight division. Him and Rey Mysterio and Juventud and
Dean
Malenko. Dean Malenko. Benoit. Did Benoit enter the Cruiserweight division at the time?
I don't recall.
I don't remember.
Because I was literally 5 years old.
Right, I don't
remember.
But those are just some of the names that I can think of who represented the WCW Cruiserweight division that was on fire back in the 90s in WCW. And then all of a sudden, he made him, Malenko, Benoit, and Saturn made the jump to the WWE and became known as the Radicals.
The Radicals, yes. In the WWF, actually.
Yep, and then
Yep.
of course, Eddie had his demons and early in his career, and then that led him to being fired in the WWE, and then he was working the independents for a little bit, and even CM Punk touched on it during the Full Gear post conference, and
Yep.
he felt a little. Yep, and he felt a little bit emotional talking about Eddie because, well, if you know Eddie and CM Punk's history, every time that they fought while Eddie was traveling the independent scene while he got released from WWE, these two squared off like years ago, and I still go back and watch that match. I even watched it today during at my work while Punk was talking about getting a little emotional about Eddie Saturday night in the post scrum, and I went back and watched that, and then when Eddie came back to WWE, he had a second chance in life, which basically I was proud of him when he finally got back to the WWE, and he basically, fought his demons and he fought them to the success to where I feel like, okay, and even Brock Lesnar still talks about him to this day. Even Brock Lesnar still misses Eddie because No Way Out at the Cow Palace in 2004 will always go down as one of my favorite memories in WWE when Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. And dang, did Eddie represent the WWE Championship really so proud, and was one of the main pillars of SmackDown. Whenever you watch SmackDown, you will always tune to see if Eddie's going to be on the show or not. But even though that was a good roster that they had in the Ruthless Aggression era, but it was Eddie Guerrero who I think was the true leader of that SmackDown roster. And basically go for it, one of the best technical luchadors in the wrestling business that we have ever got to experience in our childhood. And basically, Eddie, we miss you. We love you still. Thank you for basically giving us our childhood when it comes to your matches. Thank you for always being you. And we will always continue in your honor. Lie, cheat, steal. Viva la raza.
Extremely well said. And of course, he's also alluding to, folks, they were in the city where they literally did the tribute show because this day marked the passing of Eddie Guerrero 16 years ago, I believe, to the day.
Yes.
So it was a very
Correct.
deep, emotional, special night in the name of Eddie Guerrero and what he presented, what he encouraged, what he inspired, what he brought forward in professional wrestling. Casey, I think pretty much King gave the entire autobiography in summary. So anything you want to add to that?
All right. With the Eddie Guerrero, one thing I got to say about him is, man, did that guy know how to entertain a crowd, and he knows how to have a crowd in the palm of his hand. And Eddie Guerrero, back then, I mean, he had a lot of awesome matches and awesome feuds with the likes of JBL, John Liefeld, and especially how Eddie Guerrero was like hijacked JBL's limousine, and
I remember that.
JBL was telling him, driver, go. And Eddie turns around like says something on that. This way, Holmes. And Eddie drove the car like so fast and crashed the limo in the arena and completely embarrassed JBL from start to finish in their feud. And I remember one of his other matches was against John Cena in a parking lot match. And man, but Eddie,
you don't mess with my lowrider, Holmes.
And one other match that I can also remember is his feud with Kurt Angle.
That was the one
Kurt Angle was Kurt Angle when he was a SmackDown general manager at the time. WrestleMania 20, like that match for the WWE title was awesome from start to finish. And when Kurt Angle had Eddie in the ankle lock, like Kurt ripped the boot off, like the boot came off Eddie's foot, and Eddie beat him like real geniusly, like completely outsmarted him. And Eddie and Kurt's match all the way up to SummerSlam was phenomenal. And him and Kurt Angle had some classic battles and all that. And before Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul, he was supposed to have a match with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels,
We never
at
got it.
WrestleMania 22. And sadly, that
We never
match
got it.
never took place for us or anybody, because Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero would have stole the damn show at WrestleMania 22,
No
because
doubt.
it would have been very interesting, from elbow drop, the sweet chin music on Eddie, the Eddie hitting a Free Amigos on Shawn, and a frog splash like on Shawn Michaels at that. But here's one thing that's pretty eerie. There's a match built up in the old SmackDown versus Raw 06 game between Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was built up and building up to a match at WrestleMania, I think, and
It was.
Shawn Michaels sweet chinned
Sweet
Eddie
chin,
Guerrero, like in the video game. But listen to this, that really freaked me out back in the day. There was a some burial type of match
Buried alive.
where it was
Buried alive
Undertaker
match.
buried alive match between Undertaker and Eddie Guerrero, and the Undertaker ended up choke slamming Eddie Guerrero into the coffin in a buried alive match.
Yep.
Not knowing that Eddie, a few months later, would pass in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot, but one thing I could say about Eddie Guerrero's career is the dude know how to work a crowd in the palm of his hand. That's all I can say about that. And Eddie was a great wrestler and a great human being from top to bottom. And Eddie had a lot of great matches in his career, and he's a big inspiration on everybody, including the likes of Sasha Banks, the inspiration, and
Countless
two of
names.
his friends, and
Countless names.
Batista, Rey Mysterio, like Undertaker, and Eddie Guerrero. I mean, when you get down to it, the guy would always give you 100% in all of his matches. I mean, he didn't care who he wrestled against. He just brought out the best in everybody, no matter who he fought against. And that's one thing I miss about Eddie Guerrero greatly, is he had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand, because nobody else had that charisma like Guerrero did, because he was over with the crowd, and he knew how to work a crowd from start to finish. God rest your soul, Eddie Guerrero. You are very well missed, sir. We wish you were here today to see today's wrestling world and the forbidden door that AEW is doing now, because we would have definitely loved to hear your take on the forbidden door, on what AEW is doing now.
Imagine Eddie Guerrero in AEW. Just saying. Oh my God.
Yeah, as a coach, Eddie Guerrero as a coach. Holy shit.
And the
Not
matches.
not only that, but also going back to his New Japan Pro Wrestling days, Black Tiger.
Black Tiger. Yeah, he and Rocky Romero could go back and renew hostilities, because Rocky Romero was the other Black Tiger.
That too.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the bottom line is this. It was definitely a emotionally, heavily inspired and encouraged night in the name of the late, great Eddie Guerrero. So let's go ahead and keep talking about this show. But again, folks, we just want you to acknowledge really at the end of the day what the underlying purpose of the show also was about. Not just professional wrestling, but celebrating a great professional wrestler. Okay.
That's right.
Trying to get back on things now with the pay-per-view. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match, which I believe was, oh yeah, I remember this. The AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament final between the Redeemer, God's former favorite champion, Miro, and the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Holy hell. Casey's already is grinning. Casey, I can tell, wants to talk about this. Casey, kick it off. Talk about this match. Talk about it.
Holy shit. Bryan Danielson and Miro. Oh, man. These two guys beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Until nobody was standing anymore. And when Miro had Bryan Danielson, it was going for Bryan Danielson to be locked in that accolade
camel clutch / game over.
Camel clutch. I fought Bryan Danielson. I was like, as soon as Miro lays back, the game is over. And I was so impressed with Bryan Danielson's technical ability, how he was able to escape that and was keeping the Miro from putting on his second arm, like the lock in camel clutch, and Bryan Danielson
him back.
Exactly. Bryan Danielson and Miro put on an absolute instant classic of a match from start to finish. And Bryan and Miro, you had a power, Miro versus speed, and Bryan Danielson. And at the end of the day, that match, speed and Bryan Danielson prevailed, victorious over God's favorite champion, Miro. And Bryan and Miro absolutely brought out the best in each other from start to finish. And Bryan, as soon as after he defeated Miro, that I thought to myself, give both of these guys a standing ovation, because they beat the shit out of each other, because both of these dudes wanted to advance to the next round, and they both worked to get there, and Bryan Danielson worked his ass off to get to the next round. But do I see Miro as a future AEW World Champion down the road someday? Sure I do. Do I see the same thing with Bryan Danielson? Yes, I do. I see both of them as future AEW World Champions, because they both put on a fantastic wrestling technical clinic that I have ever seen in this modern era of the 21st century of professional wrestling.
Wow, that's a hell of a statement and an accolade, considering how many professional wrestling matches we've seen this year. But again, the form of the night for Full Gear especially. Oh, this match did this. Let's try and one up it. Kick it up into another gear and another gear. And these two did just that. King, your thoughts on this match? Good Lord.
You look back 3 years ago when they first had an encounter over in that other company, which we will not talk about. You look at the 3 years ago from there, and you look at it now. They are two totally complete different type of people, and it just goes to show. And ever since Bryan has been here for 2 months, ever since that All Out debut, the man has put up nothing but classic bangers ever since he's been here for 2 months. And it's basically stating the fact that, okay, I'm Brian Danielson. I'm the American Dragon. I got to show you these people who I really am, my true self, my real self, but also kicking up another gear as well. And Miro, on the other hand, oh my God, Miro challenged Brian to basically, okay, kick me here, and he did just that. But Miro said, you know what? No, those kicks ain't good enough, so I'm just going to kick you right in the back, and he stunned Brian. I was like, okay, yeah, this is really going to go Miro's way, because when you look at it, we had power versus technical in this match, in this clash of styles, because of the fact that being that when Brian like got out of the game over, I was like, yep, that is Brian's technician right there, showing you in its purest form. And then when he got him in the guillotine, the same guillotine that made Eddie Kingston passed out, and I was like, and then when I heard that bell and Miro passed out, I was like, yeah, Brian survived. He won, but he survived. That was basically a war with Brian Danielson, but also the road that Brian took to get here in this spot, because he had to go through Dustin, he had to go through Kingston, and now he had to go through Miro. Those are three tough, formidable opponents that Brian had to get through just to become number one contender for the AEW World Championship. Now, with Brian is being the number one contender, which we will talk about in the main event, Tony, all I got to say is, if you want to put it on TBS, do that. Put it on a Revolution, do that too. I just can't wait for it to happen. But this was a good match. And basically, I kept talking about on Twitter, I was like, is this the theme of basically we're going to outdo like everybody's matches? We went from first gear, then we went to second gear, and then now we made it to third gear.
You basically answered your own question, as we'll definitely talk about in the next match that you're going to kick off for a particular reason, but I digress. Yes, this was an absolute physical war of technical versus power, as Miro basically claimed, this is my ring, you can't beat me. And literally, Brian Danielson's on point saying, I haven't beaten Miro before, but Miro, he doesn't really blame himself for his own like faults or losses. When I lose, and I've lost a lot, I just go back to what, brought me to the game in the first place and try and improve on it. And he likes competing in tournaments because, again, it really pushes him harder and harder and harder. This was no exception. As you saw alluded to with each of Brian Danielson's fury offense of several strikes. It only took one strike by Miro to put him down. With every technical submission-based move or try to hinder point, including that bandage leg, which he really didn't go after, which I was kind of surprised about, Miro basically fought back. And then when Miro finally locked in the game over, I thought it really was it. But Brian Danielson is the first one to be able to escape it via the ropes. He survived, like you said. And then he goes for a second time. And once again, Brian Danielson counters that. And once he tries to go for the Kingston type finish, Miro just powers out of it and beats the holy daylights out of him. Again, these two literally bludgeon each other, if I could use a word. And as you said, it was literally a front headlock guillotine kind of DDT combo, because he had to get him off the ropes in the corner. He had to go to another level. And it was almost like he KO'd Miro, because I didn't see no physical tap out. I think the referee stopped because Miro couldn't respond because he got his head caved in on a DDT and was still locked in his submission as well, which again goes back to that weak point of Miro. His neck. It took some sort of DDT type variation, which he did pull off a DDT earlier, but he further exaggerated on it to allow Brian Danielson to win this tournament. And once again, Miro protected in defeat. Miro's finally overcome by Brian Danielson, and these two, the handcuffs were off. They went, no pun intended, okay, maybe pun intended, all out. And it was an incredible physical war of, as you said, strength versus technical ability. And of course, Miro having an amateur wrestling background, that came into play too, where he showed off his technical prowess, but he definitely more so relied on his power during this match. And I thought this was tremendous. So Miro being in this spot, even under these circumstances, which I feel like this was inevitably a match we're going to see, I felt that Miro definitely delivered and definitely deserved it and earned it. What's next for the Redeemer? I don't know. But did he redeem himself in front of his God and his wife? Hindsight's 2020. I don't know how that all works out in that household. I'm just saying. But congratulations to Brian Danielson, the American Dragon, who, might I add, he's simply to prove why he is the greatest. He wants to prove why he is the greatest professional wrestler and the greatest professional wrestling company going today, AEW. He wants to wrestle every single week. It doesn't have to be on Dynamite. He could do it on Rampage, Dark or Elevation, as we will talk about later on. So again, there's no stopping this guy, it seems, but I almost wonder, are you going to eventually burn yourself out? Because good Lord, man, you haven't taken a week off yet.
Yep, and then speaking of not taking a week off, I mean, we did get the announcement from Tony Khan during the pay-per-view that Bryan Danielson will take on Evil Uno Wednesday on Dynamite.
Because Bryan Danielson wanted to wrestle again this week against somebody. Okay, how about Evil Uno? And we've seen Evil Uno go one-on-one with Miro for the TNT title. Evil Uno will not be no easy walkover opponent. Well, no one is in AEW, let's be honest at this point, on this roster for the American Dragon, but it will be a different test for Bryan Danielson because he's never faced this guy before. And I think that's why he loves this so much, with the just amount of talent here that he could test himself and really like figure out, okay, what's the best way I can portray myself, or what's the best way I could wrestle against my opponent. We saw right here what he did against Miro. What's it going to take against Evil Uno? I guess we'll find out in less than 2 days. Really great stuff, though. And overall, I enjoyed this tournament for what it brought, despite the unforeseen circumstance. And again, Moxley, God bless you. Take care of yourself, man. And we hope to see you again once you're truly back to normal too, in the right place, because mental health matters at the end of the day. So does your physical well-being too, for the sake of not only yourself, but more importantly, yourself at the top, but your family and your friends and fans that support you. That's all I got to say about that. I still got to finish this book too. Anyway, good stuff. All right. Well, King, what did I say? We talked about it. Did I not call it? And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to let you describe the theatrical story plots and the incredible OMG moments from this wild ass 6-man Falls Count Anywhere trios match between Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage taking on your boys, representing Bret the Him and Hart, I think, in that hot pink, the Super Click. Take it away.
Oh my God, this was the most wild 6-man tag Falls Count Anywhere match, and it all started back when we had Grand Slam Rampage in September, when basically the Super Click got the win over them, and then we basically, the Super Click got one on Jurassic Express and Christian, and then Jurassic Express and Christian got one back, and then Super Click again with the triple power bomb, shield like power bomb over backstage, and then that's what caused for this, continuing feud to happen. Which basically this feud has been really, like, if I'm being honest, it's been really good, and it's been getting me intrigued, and it kind of got me going back and forth, because yes, I am a Super Click fan, I am an Elite fan, but those that already know. But of course, I went with my boys, but in the end, I mean, kind of wish I did it, because of the fact that I've never seen a 6'5", 280-pounder jump off the stage with a shooting star press on too many people.
What the hell, Luchasaurus?
Hell? Like even when you saw Jungle Boy's face, it was like wow, like even he couldn't believe that this was so much chaotic spots, including Christian off the fourth row all the way back there with a crossbody onto Brandon Cutler. Brandon, why did you have to get yourself in the match for? Why, Cutler? Why?
You're stupid. You're stupid, stooge.
Like, come on,
Stupid
but then
idiot,
and then Christian and Nick just basically battling with the crowd. I mean, if you watch BTE, Cutler kind of filmed it on BTE on today's episode, and basically, well, they basically brawled all the way in that crowd, all the way down, and then of course we got to talk about that thumbtack spot with Jungle Boy eating a whole bunch of tacks, even though what my boys doing these usual run the ropes, kiss Adam Cole on the cheek, and then super kick, and a whole bunch of thumbtacks coming out of Jungle Boy's mouth. Like, oh my God, I thought we'd seen enough tacks, and then that was not all.
Oh,
and
they had to kick it into another gear.
Yep, with the thumbtack knee pad that Adam Cole brought. I'm thinking to myself, a thumbtack knee pad, like. Never seen that before, and then hit the BTE trigger on Luchasaurus, and that knocked them out cold. And then Jungle Boy making the save, and Adam Cole continues why he is one of the best in the game right now with that Panama Sunrise off the trouts over there. And then, like I said, Luchasaurus, good Lord, 6'5", 280. That's not the only spot I took away from this whole event. We'll get more to my takeaways of my favorite spot. Another spot that basically didn't expect that to see it coming, but in the end, Concerto strikes again. Adam Cole suffered a concerto, and now Matt Jackson suffered a concerto as Jungle Boy hit the concerto on Matt and got the 1, 2, 3. And I predicted that the Super Click was going to win because we even touched on it. Me and you, Noah, we touched on it on Friday, saying that I didn't think that it was going to start the elite losing streak from Wrestle Kingdom, but oh boy, was I wrong. And we'll talk about more about that, which I will go very in detail of why I feel like, well, this was the starting point and the main event. It's the ending point, and we'll see what happens. But above all else, that was a good 6-man chaotic tag match falls count anyway, with Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage picking up the win. Now, where does the Super Click go from here? Like I said, we'll talk more about that. I kind of want to go into detail with that. And where does Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Christian Cage go from here? We shall see.
I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about in our post pay-per-view thoughts, as you slightly alluded to with BTE, kind of giving us your retrospective of how those men felt after this war too. That being said, you covered a lot of ground, but yeah, we had everything: tables, ladders, chairs thrown Luchasaurus' face. Hello. We've had near falls galore. We've had people rise from the dead to break them out of nowhere. There's at least 4 different occasions in the ring and up the rampway I thought this would be over, including that tack-filled BTE trigger, which I thought really was it. How Jungle Boy came out from the dead and broke that up and then took on the Super Click 3 against 1 for a time being. That was until Christian Cage got up and spared somebody. And then Luchasaurus, of course, pulling off the spot of all spots you never thought you would see a man like him ever do in your life. And then, of course, you said a deep breath. Jungle Boy wanted to deliver the last shot, and boy, did he. And that trio got the win. But this was one of the most wild, chaotic 6-man wars I've ever seen in my life, and I loved it top to bottom. Blood and smashed bodies, broken wood, bent over chairs, bent spines, tacks, everything you could think of except for the kitchen sink at this point. And I'll talk more about that later, but I digress. Casey, your thoughts about this 6-man car wreck? What a way to end a war between these trios.
Oh, man. God almighty, that was a damn war between Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian versus the Super Click. And that match was straight up a war that looks like it was taking place out in the damn war zone where it was just nothing but pure destruction in that match. I mean, it was complete and utter chaos where these trios teams beat the living hell out of each other to nobody was left standing. But the one who was left standing, I really thought the Super Click was going to win this match. I really did. And I was surprised that Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Christian won this match. And a few holy shit moments was Christian diving from doing a crossbody from the upper road, like up there. But the one spot that made me, it sent chills down my spine was the Tax and Jungle Boy's mouth.
Yeah.
And I thought but one thing that's always hilarious was Matt and Nick Jackson planning the kiss on Adam Cole's cheeks, and Adam Cole going, yeah, yeah, and all this. And but one thing that really got me in this match as well was the thumbtack knee pad. I was like, what in the hell? I was like, God almighty. If somebody messes with this thumbtack knee pad and hits it on something, they are going to be crying like a son of a bitch. But Adam Cole, Nick Jackson, and Matt Jackson, when they hit the BTE on Luchasaurus, that looked like that was enough for Luchasaurus to go down for the count right there. And if Jungle Boy wasn't right there, Super Quick would have won that match, but Jungle Boy already broke it up. Well, one thing I got to say, Brandon Cutler, you damn fool. Why did you need to get involved? And you see what you done? You sprayed cold spray right in that on Nick Jackson's eyes.
I love that.
Man, Matt, one of these days, Brandon Cutler, if they find out that you're the problem of them losing, Matt and Nick Jackson are kicking your stooge ass out of the Super Click, and you're going to get sent right back to Cold Sprayville, and they're going to cold spray their shoes and super kick the hell out of you with them. But anyway, this Jungle Boy broke up the BT by Adam Cole in the box when they hit Luchasaurus with the thumbtack knee pad. But oh my God, moment of that match was Luchasaurus, for as big as he is for 6'5", hits that somersault flip.
Standing shooting star press off the stage to the floor.
Standing shooting star press off the stage onto the floor. That was very impressive for a guy to do that his size. Because not a lot of men his size would be able to do that. And even Jungle Boy, yeah, exactly. Even Jungle Boy was genuinely impressed when his jaw dropped and he's thinking, oh my God, holy shit. But poor Adam Cole got the damn concerto this past Dynamite before the pay-per-view. And now poor Matt or Nick Jackson had to get the concerto. And we lost just like that. But if it wasn't for Brandon Cutler's stooge ass, we would have fucking won this match over Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage, because Jungle Boy would have been singing no if he lost. But anyway, props to Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian on an incredible win and all that stuff. But thanks to you, Brandon Cutler, we lost. And it's all your damn fault, you fucking cold spray loving loser.
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like he played in the finish, but again, I called it. That being said, yeah, overall though, still these six men, one of the longer matches of the night, they brought hell to each other. And this was freaking incredible. Loved everything about this. All right.
Yes.
Now let's go ahead and move on to oh boy, this is gonna be weird. We move on to a tag team match. I think you know which one I'm about to talk about. As Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo took on the Bastard Pac, and a very interesting reacted to Cody Rhodes. I gotta be honest with you. Not a bad match. I feel it went longer than it needed to. I'm just going to keep it like that. Honestly, the bigger story of this match to me was Pac and El Igalo. It felt like they should have just booked Pac versus Andrade 3 1-on-1 instead of this tag match. But I get the psychological warfare we're dealing with now with Cody, to the point now he might be questioning himself because the audience is kind of turning on him. Almost everybody's turning on Cody. I think I actually read something that said Cody either deleted or blocked or shut off his Twitter again.
Yeah, he deactivated his Twitter, and he meant to do that. So it was nothing controversial. He said that I think days ago that he was going to deactivate his Twitter, and he's just going to use Instagram from now on.
Oh, okay, well, that's fair enough. I can probably understand a number of reasons probably why, too. But that being said, this match, it was interesting because it was definitely volatile hotheads on one side and some interesting tags on the other. But I think Malachi and Andrade kind of understood where they were coming from, where they were tagging each other. When it came to Pac and Cody, Pac was out to prove a point and beat the living daylights out of particularly Andrade and get the win here as quick as possible and get away from Cody. While Cody, he personally just wanted to get his hands on nobody else more than Malachi Black. And in the end, he did get that. And a black mass kick for his troubles and was out for most of this match, which then turned into a handicap match. And I'll give Pac credit. He really brought it here against both Andrade and Malachi. I want to see Malachi versus Pac 1-on-1. In the end, Cody finally gets his bearings and finally comes back into the match after Jose is driven off by Arn Anderson. Yeah, Jose, don't ever challenge the enforcer. You in over your damn head. He got his Glock. Anyway, sorry. That being said, we saw Malachi Black and Cody. They tussled on the outside to the point that Malachi Black drove Cody into the front row, and himself included. They were both non-factors. A couple of near falls at one point, though, for Andrade with that beautiful pitch-perfect split-leg moonsault off the ropes. It's almost like he doesn't touch the ropes. I don't know how he freaking does that. Had a couple of times he could have beat Cody here, but no, it was Pac in the end who took a bit of trying. Definitely had to get his balance, but he hit the black arrow and he pinned Andrade, which I find very interesting because now that begs the question: are we going to get Andrade versus Pac 3 sooner than expected? By the way, shout out to Andrade El Igalo, of course, channeling Eddie Guerrero. He did the Three Amigos. Just saying. But overall, this match was weird to me when it came to placement and timing and also the winners. But the fact that Cody was not involved in the decision, and it more so felt like a focus of an extension of Pac and Andrade El Igalo, I'm kind of okay with it, but I don't know. This was a weird match and situation for me. Before we get any further thoughts, allow me to add another person to the room, whether for a short moment, it might be our news break time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Inquirer, our news bearer, the ATW, representing Near Entertainment. It is, of course, our good friend, Eric Brown. Eric, hello. How are you, sir? Man.
Hello.
Yes, we were talking about the Malachi Black and Andrade versus Cody.
Okay, I got something. I got some news about that.
Go for it.
Go ahead, man.
Cody deleted his Twitter.
We were just talking about that.
He said, we heard about that.
He only wants to do Instagram, but we were just talking about this match. So, do you have any thoughts regarding this tag match?
It was like, I felt like something was off about the match. Like, I kept thinking, like, what is something else going on here? It feels very standard-esque. Like, I kept thinking, like, for a second, is this the moment it's supposed to, like, be this calm down match? Like, okay, we gotta calm everyone down, then get back everyone on the high.
Right. I understand, like, you need those type of buffer matches because you got to regulate your audience's energy, especially when you're going to be sitting there for 4+ hours. But it just seemed weird how much time there was towards this match. And honestly, I feel like it should have been a singles match, in my opinion, because more so felt like a focus of Pac and Andrade. But
yeah, but there was something that did come out about that.
Go for it.
Malachi Black got injured.
Oh. No.
Yeah, there's been no details. PW Insider reported this. They were both, he and Eddie Kingston were set to appear at the big event convention in New York on Sunday, was announced. However, they would not be appearing due to injuries they suffered.
Oh, dear. And we haven't even got to CM Punk
Damn.
versus Kingston yet. Well, I hope both are okay and make a speedy recovery and whatever's affecting them. I hope it's not nearly as bad as anything that Chris Dickinson's going through. All the best to Dirty Daddy, who's been on one of the hottest streaks in his professional wrestling career, being involved in NJPW. But again, this isn't ballet, folks. This is professional wrestling. This is real life people showcasing what work they put in on their bodies and their minds. And it doesn't come without paying a heavy price once in a while.
Okay, so I wasn't planning to talk about any of the other matches save for the last match because I haven't talked about those on my channel yet.
Right. I saw, by the way, your retrospective on your YouTube channel about Hangman and Kenny Omega. So just to bring up to speed, we've literally been going down the card order. So we haven't even gotten to that yet. And also we talked a bit of how much influence Latino Heat had, of course, on this night as well.
Yeah, since it was in the same place and the same date that he passed away at.
Exactly. So honestly, if you just want to sit back and if you want to drop any news or have any thoughts, we'll go ahead and breathe through this, I think, rather quickly. King, do you have anything to add regarding this tag match?
Like I posted on my Twitter account Saturday night. Great match. Wrong team won. Just saying. Short and sweet.
I think it's as simple as that. Casey,
I will say this though beforehand. At least Cody did get the pinfall victory.
That's the thing I'm glad about. That I felt like would have been the real that really would have drove everybody into a fit. And again,
that would have caused Minneapolis to cause a riot a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it.
Dude, this is AEW. These professional wrestling fans will tell you like it is and react how they want. I think you're on point.
Yes. Damn right.
Casey,
you were gonna hear a lot of boos.
Well, I mean, we heard that
we already do.
We already heard the heavy boos as soon as Cody's music started. It was nothing but practically boos. He's basically become a villain.
That was the one match I got wrong. That was the one match I got wrong.
Yep,
same, damn it, same.
Same.
It cost me the win in my league. I tied with 200 people, but at least I beat all of you. Doggone it. Anyway, Casey, do you have anything to add? A couple sentences before we move on?
Listen, be honest with you, as much as Malachi Black and Andrade are both awesome wrestlers and all this, but to be honest with you, I have no words to say about this match whatsoever because I literally didn't comment about this on my Twitter account because I was silent throughout this match because I could care less about it.
Ouch.
And all that. And I mean, I really could care less about the Cody and tag match, but Pac, Andrade, and Malachi, I do not mind. But to be honest with you, the tag match was little boring, and it did not interest me whatsoever. Like it because Lucha Brothers and FTR, that match is just a whole different story. But high-paced action in FTR and Lucha Brothers match. The Cody tag match was boring as hell, and it really did not interest me whatsoever.
I felt it's more so the Cody factor because the key thing you're talking about is Cody. It's almost like, Cody does the work. He always does so much, but now it's like people are just like kind of over it. And again, is this just something that's just developed over time, or is Malachi Black the one that really has been like escalating all of this and dictating this too? And of course, we also have one half of FTR come out afterwards too and beat up Pac. So I mean, continue.
Yep. But like I was saying, go ahead, Casey.
One more thing.
Go for it.
What really gets me is Cody Rhodes always comes up through the damn stage through every damn
the end lost its luster because
show.
It's not special.
It's not special anymore. It's played out.
He needs to just do it on pay-per-view, and maybe that's a thing too. Maybe they think Cody is like way too hyped or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean everybody's getting real tired of Cody Rhodes. I mean, because Minneapolis had the mindset, so when his entrance music hit was, oh God, like not this
So did
again.
Boston on Dynamite. So did
Yes.
Boston did.
Yes,
and
it's
so did
because
Grand
it's
Slam.
becoming
Yeah.
a real turnoff with real professional wrestling fans because you get down to it. Us fans will not give a shit. We will speak our mind, whether we like something or whether we don't like something.
Right.
But this tag match of Cody Rhodes, I could care less about.
Again,
Cody, just turn
Because
heel.
other
Just
matches
turn heel.
interested me.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
understand. But
Cody,
here's the thing, Casey.
know-
At least you're being reasonable and not liking Cody Rhodes. At least you're not going in ballistic like he committed the crime of the age.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
You're
not.
being
Right,
rational
exactly.
and reasonable. You're actually speaking with some
Yeah.
sense.
I'm
Mhm.
I just like to speak very honestly without doing all that ranting and all that
Not
stuff
nonsensical
because
bullying,
really,
stupid BS
really,
bullshit. Try to bring
it's
attention to
just-
yourself, claim you're right,
it's just
blah,
a
blah,
waste,
blah.
just a waste of my time doing
And
it.
brain
I
cells.
just like to speak honestly about it. Give a very honest opinion. That's all I'm about.
I
Honest,
respect that.
Giving an honest
Always.
opinion.
That's
on
what,
what
that's
I
what we're all
think.
about. Again, what do I encourage? Just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Support one another, respect each other. Simple as that. All right. Well, now I don't expect you to go Spanish, but I feel like this is the second most talked about match for King here because I think honestly this was one of your favorite wrestlers' best matches ever in her career. Yep, we're going to talk about it. The AEW Women's World Championship between Dr. Britt Baker, the MD, with Rebel, not Reba, and Jamie Hayter in her corner, coming out with a rock star entrance to the guitarist of Fozzy, as we found out, taking on somebody with so much national pride for her heritage and so much passion for professional wrestling. The number one rank, and yes, you did get your shimmy, Ty Conti. And again, the number one thing that definitely Britt feared was the striking capabilities of Conti. And when she got those kicks in, boy, did things change on numerous occasions. Now, usually I'm the one that breaks down the match, but I would be wrong in this case because there's only one person in ATW that definitely talks about Ty Conti in the highest regard, both physically and emotionally. King, talk about this match.
You start off, bro.
This was like I'm glad you touched on that. This was Britt and Ty's like their best matches to date. Well, Britt's of course is going to be Thunder Rosa. That's always going to be her toughest match to date. But this is
different type of test though. Different type of test because this was a traditional championship match on pay-per-view. And might I add, Ty Conti's first ever pay-per-view championship match. Now continue.
Because Ty brought it on the pay-per-view stage in her first ever pay-per-view championship match. She brought her Brazilian background and judo and jiu-jitsu. She brought her strikes into the game, and it proved to be Dr. Britt Baker's second toughest test because of the fact that she even admitted on Twitter that, okay, Ty Conti's strikes are way harder than mine. And you can honestly tell.
I knew that before the match even started.
Right. That's right.
Both of these ladies brought it to the table when it comes to when it came to the AEW Women's World Championship. We look at Ty Conti, and Ty Conti, she like when we look at it, she went from underutilized in NXT to basically becoming one of the mainstays in the AEW Women's Division, who continues to thrive, who continues to grow, and to continue to show why that she is one of the best women wrestlers in that division, and without a doubt becoming a future AEW Women's World Champion or a future TBS Women's Championship down the line. Because Ty Conti, with her background in like jiu-jitsu, judo, and her strikes, is just basically unbelievable. Like, that's one of the reasons why I like this woman so much, because of basically her athletic ability, her striking, everything about her represents that, about her background, because of the fact that, well, I mean, look at Ty, like look at her work. Her work is just basically so amazing. so good in the ring. And with Britt, because we know about Britt, we know what she brings to the table. I mean, like it was basically still too early for her to drop the title. Still save that title for Thunder Rosa down the line, which basically it's going to get visited. It will get visited, as I think Revolution. It will get visited.
Yep,
Revolution.
I think Revolution
Right.
on point. But continue.
Yep, it will get visited. So, but in the end, as soon as I like how Britt transitioned from the backslide into that lockjaw towards the end. That was a beautiful transition. Beautiful transition to close out the match. And it just continues to show that women's wrestling, just like I say about the tag team wrestling, women's wrestling actually matters in AEW. And as they continue to get in depth and continue to get in depth and to continue to build on its women's roster. And to think, since day one, we was basically saying, get more women on this women's roster. Get more women. Like, we need to sign more women for this women's roster.
Right, exactly.
Get more in depth. And now
Correct.
we look back from 2019 to now. This women's roster is just flourishing right now. It's basically one of the best female divisions in professional wrestling. And basically give it more in depth. And we're going to see more good matches down the line. Like, I don't know, maybe another classic in February. So, but other than that, good women's match.
I do have one thing to say.
Go ahead, Eric.
Next time, Tony Khan should just not be rude.
At least he admits to being
At least he said, I'm sorry to someone.
He owned up to it.
The other guy who probably say never.
If you own up to your stupidity or your mistakes, it should not be held over your head. That's all I got to say about that. So kudos to Tony Khan.
I was like, Tony, we're on the high heading into Full Gear, and you want to do this.
Well, at least Tony realized his mistake immediately, I might add. He didn't hold it off. He didn't I'm crying in my own mind. Good, smart, conscious man.
One thing about Tony Khan is whenever he feels like he did something wrong, he feels bad about it and mans up about it and apologizes like a man should, because that's a part of being an adult, and admit when you're wrong about something and just straight up apologize. I mean, that's part of being a man in life. I mean,
Wait, Casey.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say that Tony Khan is a man's man?
Oh, Lord, here we go.
No.
Stop that.
But
he's not William Regal.
At least Tony Khan was right about the fact that I don't think AEW needs a all-women's pay-per-view right now, because I feel like we still need to grow more. Yeah. Within this
it's better than what the reason the other company about why we never did Evolution.
Right, and they're already growing their division more with who to bring forward on Dark and Elevation and the inclusion of this TBS title. Go ahead, Casey.
All right. The reason why Tony Khan said we don't need to do another all women's AEW pay-per-view right now is because what he's basically saying is he wants to get the roster for it filled out. I mean, he wants to get a lot of big names in AEW in order to pull this off if it's just AEW, because he wants it to be a success. He really does, just like his other pay-per-views. He's just waiting till he gets the right women for his women's division to pull this off. I mean, he wants to sign some huge names that are out there. I mean, and all this stuff. I mean, he's just waiting till he has the roster, the women's roster, to pull off the AEW women's pay-per-view.
Longer term storytelling, and smart booking.
So therefore, that's a very smart move. Don't do it right away. Just wait till you have the women's roster for it.
Right. And you got to make sure you have enough depth and enough in storytelling to do it as well. They got a lot going for it already, but right now, when you look at the story standpoints in the women's in AEW, the biggest stories right now is what's going on in the TBS tournament, and now we wonder what's next for Britt Baker. So again, you don't just hot shot a bunch of people onto a show and call it something special and think it's going to be great.
Thank you.
But I digress.
You don't. You're smart for not doing that. But anyway.
Yeah, let's get back on track.
Yeah,
go ahead and
right.
Okay, so speaking of Britt Baker, I've been wanting to say this. Okay. Like, I know we want to see it. We all want to see it, but can they just at least start planting a little seed of mention, like the Virtuosa? Like, come on, that should be your next big crossover storyline.
Maybe we'll get something like that when the Virtuosa finally comes forward on Impact Wrestling this Thursday and talks with GM Miller. Because I'm very curious, what does the Virtuosa think about her time so far in Impact? What's her mindset been since losing the Knockouts Championship in an incredible match to Mickie James? And is she aware that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, across this forbidden door, has called her out? Will that be brought forward in this interview? I think we just need to, like I said, be patient and wait and see. But again, the Virtuosa will soon let us know enough, sooner or later.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say this, as far as her title reign goes, long did she reign.
All
right. Let me get back on track. So yeah, Ty Conti and Dr. Britt Baker. Definitely, it was a incredible test, probably the toughest test, as you just, I think Britt pretty much subtly, as a heel, subtly admitted to date in her probably AW career. Most definitely. Ty Conti and Britt Baker started out with some simple mat-based wrestling, trying to control one another. Britt knew the imminent danger if Ty Conti builds momentum, but she also wanted to probably exploit if Ty Conti can handle the pressure of being on this stage, in this situation. Is she ready to be champion? And that kind of was the story played out here in the early going, as Britt did maintain control. But again, once Ty started ripping off those judo throws and then got Britt set up in the corner, and that first pump kick hit straight on the mark, followed by a second and a third. Britt was already rocked, and then Ty Conti was like, okay, I got her on the ropes, I'm in control. But there were conscious times where I feel like Ty was wondering, what do I do next? Do I panic here? No, let me center myself. Let me keep my game plan going. Yes, Britt Entourage did get involved at times. Rebel and Jamie Hayter, both respectively. At one point, though, I gotta say this. Rebel, moment of the night. She was trying to get the crowd back into it because the Cody match definitely killed the crowd, but you can't help but laugh at Rebel when she goes just full mental, supporting the doctor, giving her that glove. That was so damn funny. I don't care what you tell me. Anyway, as this match kept going,
I just had a thought about that.
What
if Rebel starts to get so over it's like Mizdow? And Britt Baker's not liking the attention. The focus should be on me.
I feel like here they're going to be smarter in their booking, because Rebel already plays such an integral part in AEW, just being in Britt Baker's corner, also with what she does backstage. And good commentary, by the way, on the Rose Wrestling Showcase. Anyway, as this match continued, Ty Conti did get some control, but things really changed when they got on the outside of the ring, and your girl King got curb stomped face first into the stairs.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
And Britt thought she had her there, and somehow Ty kicked out. And then Ty thought she finally had Britt, not only hitting the Ty KO at one point, but the DDT. Both times Britt survived. Barely a razor's edge worth of a near fall. And then eventually Britt again gets pump kicked, but lands on her feet, ironically, on the outside. But she was out on her feet, clearly. I think she was out consciously most of this match, just from her face, like, ugh. But at one point, your girl Ty literally went above and beyond what she's done before, going to the top rope and taking out Britt Baker's entourage, trying to bring it back in the ring. And this is where we talk about she tried like in the lockjaw. But again, Ty knew if Britt left in the lockjaw, game over. That was it. No matter what Britt did, Ty did not let her lock in the lockjaw. And it came down really to, I feel like, exhaustion, but also desperation to survive, as Britt subtly just got the better of Ty in a pinning maneuver and escaped, I feel like, with the gold, as she barely was on her feet after that fall occurred. Really good championship match. Definitely the stiffest test of Britt Baker's championship reign. And Ty, again, your potential just continues to grow. Your best match to date. Eric, go ahead and talk.
Okay, I got an idea. it feels like they should continue this feud for another month, heading into AEW Dynamite's next big event, or wait till TBS.
So you
And
think
they
that
should
Ty
make Britt
Conti and
Baker-
Dr. Britt Baker should be revisited?
Yes, for one particular reason. Because Ty Conti's the one that didn't fall for the lockjaw. She got
That's
Nyla
right.
Rose, but Ty Conti, she's avoided every time. So I feel like they should make a submission match.
I like that because so far,
Good idea.
I think, if I remember correctly, I don't think Ty Conti has won a match via submission.
No, she has not. She has not
Like I
won a
said,
match in
Ty Conti's
submission.
never won a match by submission, and Britt Baker can't get Ty Conti in her submission.
So you
Yeah,
set
I
up,
like that.
Later.
I think you set up
Yeah.
the very first ever submissions match in
Right.
AEW, Eric. I really like that a lot
Right.
because, again, that is Britt's first match she has been unable to win with the lockjaw. Not just during her championship reign, but I think also during her AEW run, too. It's the first one to overcome it because she never got in,
Thunder Rosa in a lockjaw on,
even though she was unconscious.
on the beach episode.
Right, but let's remember, she was unconscious. She hit face first in the
Yeah,
ring
but she
post.
could at least say, "I got you in the lockjaw."
Right. Britt
Say
can
that with
boast
Ty
that.
Conti.
And we all know the connections with Ty Conti and Thunder Rosa. And I have a feeling that's going to be revisited sooner rather than later. So there's definitely more, I feel like, with Ty Conti and Dr. Baker to come. And as Britt so alluded to, like you said on Twitter, okay, yeah, Ty hits harder than me. I think it's safe to say maybe that Ty is the stiffest striker in the entire AEW women's division, bar none.
Or none.
Casey, anything to add regarding this match?
All right, now the Ty Conti, the Dr. Britt Baker DMD match. When I look at it, I see a woman in Ty Conti who has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background and all
And
this.
multiple mixed
because
martial
when
arts
I-
disciplines.
Yeah, multiple mixed martial arts and all this. When you get down to it, Ty Conti could have easily went into UFC or Bellator as an MMA fighter, and she would have been great at UFC or Bellator as an MMA fighter because she has the experience to pull it off to be a great fighter and all this. And Ty Conti, I wouldn't mind seeing her cross over into MMA
As
in the
an MMA
UFC grounds or the Bellator. I mean, I think she would be a great fighter in any MMA promotion.
Mhm.
And Ty Conti is already a great professional wrestler and all that, but she also would have been a great MMA fighter as well. And Ty Conti and Britt Baker, one thing I can say about this match is it was a great technical wrestling match because Ty Conti's ability is technical wrestling, and she's a great technical wrestler at that. And Dr. Britt Baker's, in my honest opinion, that was one of her toughest matches to date, right up there with Thunder Rosa, because Ty Conti, one thing that she reminds me of is she reminds me of a female Bret the Hitman Hart at that, because Ty Conti's work as a technical professional wrestler is beyond impressive and all this. Because I watched this woman in Ty Conti in her NXT days, right?
Yes.
A lot of that stuff was very hidden. I mean, they was very hidden and limited, but I'm so glad that Ty Conti went into AEW because she gets to show off a lot more that we did never seen in her NXT days, because Ty Conti is having the best career as a professional wrestler in her lifetime in AEW, and she's putting on classic after classic matches with other professional wrestlers. But do I see Ty Conti as a future AEW Women's Champion down the road? Yeah, yes, I do, because
I think we all can agree on that. She'd probably be the first, second AEW. She'd probably be an AEW original.
She's a great professional wrestler at that, and she would have excelled in MMA inside the octagon because. And one more thing I got to touch on is that face paint that Ty Conti had on.
That Brazilian
that was
face
badass.
paint.
That signaled war paint, and that came from one of the great MMA fighters also for her time, and still is right now, is Chris Cyborg. That came from. That face paint she did was modeled after her idol, after one of her favorites, Chris Cyborg, because she was an inspiration. Because Ty Conti even said that Chris Cyborg was one of the inspirations behind her face paint. That's why she had the face paint on versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD match for the AEW Women's title. But all in all, I am very impressed with Ty Conti. Keep up the good work, Tay. You'll be a future AEW Women's Champion down the line someday. But here's, like Eric said, one match. If there's a rematch that was going to happen for the AEW Women's title, I say it should be a submission match, like Eric just touched up on.
I definitely agree. Hit the nail on the head.
Ty Conti, I mean, she could bust out any submission from armbar to triangle choke. And while Dr. Britt Baker has the lockjaw, and this will force Britt Baker to get a little more creative in the submissions department, because Ty Conti knows a lot of holds in the submissions department.
She also kind of rendered the lockjaw a bit harder to do too, because earlier she literally was beating on the, still might I add, taped up hand that's in recovery of Britt Baker. And what I also really appreciate about Ty's heart, tenacity, was she went at this alone. There was no Anna Jay, there was no Thunder Rosa. She took on the world by herself and came this close to winning.
She took care of business by herself, because Tay put on an instant classic match versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD. And she has nothing to be ashamed about, because Tay, I mean, not once was that lockjaw applied all night, because Ty Conti knew where Britt Baker's weakness was, and that was her hand. And Ty was very smart in attacking her hand right
and being
there.
aware where the ropes
so therefore, the lockjaw was not applied all night.
She knew where the ropes was. She knew how to reverse the pressure, and in the end, Britt was able to just put Ty into a pinning predicament just long enough, it seemed, to get the win.
Tay knows her way behind, out inside a wrestling ring like nobody else. I mean, there's other female wrestlers out there that are great professional wrestlers, just like Tay.
Farther more experienced than her,
Don't get me wrong. Yes, exactly right. And Tay, not even
5 years into wrestling,
she could put on an instant classic at any time if you give her a chance and let her work inside that ring.
Hey, all I know is Ty Conti, keep smiling, and for King's sake, keep shimmering, and for my sake, keep kicking, because I love your pump kicks.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say about that.
Yep.
I saw that.
One more thing.
What's up?
I forgot to bring this up. Ty Conti did wrestle Dakota Kai in NXT 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be wrong.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
What I would like to see is Dakota Kai versus Ty Conti one more time in AEW under the AEW banner, because that match would be far more better than it was in NXT 2 years ago. And mark my words, Dakota Kai is taking that match with the W over Tay.
There it is.
Once
Here it is.
again.
Here we go.
All right, King. I'll let you and Casey argue that later, but I will say this: that would be a hell
Yeah.
of a kicking. That would be a hell of a kicking affair. Before we move on to the next
Yes,
match,
it
Eric,
would.
you got a point or something to say?
I wrote a tweet a while back, and I said this. I listed people, and I said, I think Ty Conti will dethrone Thunder Rosa after she dethrones Britt Baker. Thunder Rosa liked the tweet.
Oh,
I think we both know that Thunder Rosa wants to take Ty Conti on one-on-one, and I think you just made King pass out.
Wow.
Because those are two of his favorites.
Yeah, so I think I might have accidentally spoiled the big storyline they're probably doing.
King, get ready for 2022. That's all I gotta say.
I think we need to get the ambulance for the King because the King has gone weak in his knees.
He's not gonna know who to pick. He's not gonna know who to pick. He loves Thunder Rosa and Ty Conti.
He fell off his throne. And this is King right here.
I'm gonna be 50-50 when it happens in 2022. And
right,
you're
gonna be unbiased, right? You're gonna be unbiased against Ty Conti and Thunder Rosa, right? You're not gonna be biased at all.
And one more thing. Dakota Kai kicks Ty Conti's ass once again, just like NXT 2 years ago.
All right, whoa, calm down. We're not trying to start a freaking ATW debate here, all right? You're gonna start something that's gonna turn into something worse than what me and Megan did at WrestleMania 36 or 37. Botch. That being said,
I don't even give a damn. I speak my mind.
I respect that. I know. I'm just trying to keep some decorum.
Yeah,
then again,
right. Yeah, right. Kay's going down once again at the hands of
DK. Women's wrestling is awesome. It's as simple as that. Ty Conti, Britt Baker, congratulations on your match. Great damn stuff.
Bring it on.
All right. Well, I'm not sure how to segue from that into this, but I'm just going to say it, and then whoever wants to talk first can talk. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston.
Okay, I got one thing to mention. Eddie Kingston came out with a tweet. He is A-okay. He's good to go.
All right, good deal.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Before someone says anything, I'm just going to say this. Holy shit, what a fight.
What a 10-minute war it was.
What a fight.
And because of the fact that it was 10 minutes and I could have wished it would have went a little bit longer, I would love to see this match part 2 down the line because these men brought it after 15 years of hatred, 15 years of animosity towards each other. And I mean, the promo, even though it was basically
a shoot,
like what, 2 week, 3 week build or whatever, and it just goes to show whenever you have the authenticity of a real promo in professional wrestling that'll sell a fight. These two brought it on the mic that automatically makes you want to say, okay, I was already interested in Full Gear. Okay, now they really got me sold on Full Gear. I can't wait for this match to happen. And these two brought it. And right before the bell even rang, Eddie Kingston hit him with that spinning back fist that got Punk just be like, whoa, what happened here?
He got his ass knocked out.
Punk was like, "What?"
Yes,
and then he flipped off the ref and said, "Ring the bell." And then Eddie just started to just basically go after Punk like a shark, and just started to maul on Punk like he was basically like he went mental. Cool,
like Eddie Kingston went after CM Punk like a damn cougar latching onto its prey.
Continue, King.
As soon as Eddie Kingston let out that scream, because he was like, that whole crowd, that whole Minneapolis crowd popped. It's amazing how Eddie Kingston can turn a crowd from liking CM Punk to having that crowd split 50-50 for him and Punk to basically say, I don't know who to go for. I'm just going to make this crowd basically split 50-50. Right. And that's exactly what he did because he got half of that crowd to boo Punk. And that all started in St. Louis on that Rampage promo. So he basically got half of that crowd to turn on Punk. But these two brought it. These two brought a war. And I would not mind seeing another match down the line. But in the end, Punk hit him with that GTS and Eddie Kingston went night night.
Not once, by the way, but twice. And by the way, it was a whole different type of feel to this match 4/5 versus anything else in this card. Just the way both these men came out. CM Punk did. CM Punk did not even say it's clobbering time. He just came out with a stern, angry look. I'm about to kick this guy's ass. And Eddie Kingston came out, in my opinion, the most focused I've ever seen him in my life for a wrestling.
And he was like, bring it.
He bludgeoned CM Punk. Crimson Mask won by CM Punk this entire match that I think sent CM Punk into another level of rage.
CM Punk paid homage to his greatest rival to date.
Yes,
John Cena himself.
And he let that crowd, he played that crowd like a fiddle. That was a brilliant freaking spot. And then he said, fuck you, and just beat up Eddie Kingston. This was a physical and R-rated vocal fight that I loved. And I understand what you're saying, that maybe you want to go longer, but for what it was and what it needed to be and what Eddie Kingston said it was going to be, I thought it was perfect.
Two things.
Oh, me too.
Two things.
Go ahead.
Full Gear was probably the most R-rated show because of the amount of the F-bombs they dropped all the time.
Yep.
And this match was like the first point of that.
And two, lights out. We gotta get lights out for this.
Agree.
Absolutely agree.
I mean, let's see. There wasn't even spots here. This was two men just beating the shit out of each other to the point of exhaustion. At one point, CM Punk sat in the corner. Eddie Kingston goes up there and just clomps his back until Eddie Kingston seemingly passes out. And then these two men are literally laying on each other, standing. And then CM Punk pulls off a move, and then you thought Kingston's left for dead. He goes for the spinning back fist again, and Mrs. just falls over. At one point, I am the table. They both go out of the ring. And then the first GTS, CM Punk can't capitalize with how exhausted he is. And awareness, Kingston in the ropes. But yes, a second GTS. And I felt like Punk was almost questioning himself at this point, or wondering, should I do this? And is it right for me to do this? There was some real psychological warfare here. But the second GTS finally put the Mad King down to ring the bell for a 3 count. And as Kingston was coming back into consciousness, he realized what was happening, but CM Punk, he did put the hand out there, but Kingston, again, always wears that chip for life, walks away. Eddie Kingston's best match in his career to date.
And I feel like we're going to see this match again, but we're going to see it in a tag between Punk and Bryan versus Kingston and whenever Mox comes back. That's why I see where this is going to go.
Real talk, real fight, real good shit.
Facts.
That was so damn good.
Yes, it was.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Oh
it
man.
was.
And I was watching an interview actually prior to Full Gear with Louis Dangor on YouTube, where Eddie Kingston talks about how he builds this mentality of these people don't like me. AEW doesn't want me to do this. AEW doesn't believe this. And he knows it's false, but he makes it seem true. And that's what makes him carry himself on this on-screen persona like you see too, because he doesn't ever want to be complacent. He always wants to push himself. But he's well aware that, and he finds it weird that A, the people love him, and B, he really is a huge, important, and respected mainstream part of AEW. And he says, as far as AEW goes, this is it. This is what he's going to do for the rest of his life till he's done. Period.
Facts.
So again, this is Kingston we're talking about that holds so much to himself when it comes to professional wrestling. But at the end of the day, he does it for everybody else. Respect.
Remember, he was close to retiring last year before he got signed.
And look at what AEW
has
done
to lose
for
his
him.
house.
And look at what the influence of AEW has done in his life.
And yes, we could talk bad about Cody and his on-screen persona, what's going on. But when it comes to off-screen, that man can bring in talent that he feels like is worthy for AEW. Thanks to Cody for signing.
And I must stress, the other company saw him only as a teacher.
moving on, because
Moving
I'm
on.
not going to try and turn this into a
Yeah.
rant.
Also, okay, if we're gonna talk about the Minneapolis street fight, do we really have to talk about that or just skip it?
I'm just gonna say one thing. Who uses a toaster in a wrestling match?
Did you realize I'm pretty sure ECW did that? Didn't they bring the kitchen sink literally?
I was literally saying the only thing missing from this match was the kitchen sink. We had a Prince sign. Prince sign? I didn't know Prince was from Minneapolis. We had toaster, hockey sticks. We had the Spanish god dive from heaven straight through hell on Scorpio Sky. We had a wrestling legend apply to Claudia Ethan Page. We had a near crowd ringside incident where literally Bravo flew into the crowd, Ethan Page. And we had Junior Dos Santos and Orlowski show a couple of decent things. But in the end, we did get what we needed. And that was Dan Lambert not getting punched in the face, but getting pinned by Jericho, as Jericho just suddenly, he did this more for anybody else. He did this in the name of Eddie Guerrero, as of course he won
Eddie Guerrero.
A frog splash, and that was it. The American Top Team saga finally comes to an end. Thank God. What a human car wreck that apparently was fun for the crowd and fun for commentary. But the only thing I'm going to remember is Hager used a toaster to waffle somebody.
2 things. Junior Dos Santos, I didn't know you could pull off a standing moonsault. Good, congratulations on that.
All right.
And Orlowski, you looked a little bit confused and lost a little bit in that ring.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe you should have got.
You want to know what I kind of wished? You want to know what I kind of wish could have happened?
What?
There is another member of American Top Team that can't really go to AEW.
Oh, what's this? Colby Covington? Is that who you're talking about?
Jorge Masvidal.
Masvidal? No.
He was the one that hit
Jericho. She was in American Top Team. He was the last WWE champion not so long ago.
Bobby Lashley.
That's right.
Would have been a whole different story.
Guys, to get him to show up for full gear.
Guys, speaking about MMA, I seen a great UFC fight night this past Saturday night between Yair Rodriguez and Max Holloway. Yair Rodriguez has been away from the octagon for 2 years, and him and Max Holloway, former UFC featherweight champion, who they both absolutely tore the house down. That looked like it should have been a regular pay-per-view fight. And I just heard after a Max Holloway fight that Conor McGregor, I seen him on Instagram. He's been walking back and forth, watching the fight on his own TV. He wants to fight Max Holloway years later because Conor McGregor beat Max Holloway years ago, but he has never fought this Max Holloway now. And this Max Holloway version is like a really tore the house down with Yair Rodriguez and McGregor. He also wants to fight Jorge Masvidal and Max Holloway when he comes back from his injury.
Interesting. I gotta wonder though, are we really done now with the American Top Team? And how stupid did freaking Dan Lambert look in this match? But it was still funny. I gotta admit.
The warm-up suit. The warm-up suit. Really?
I kind of want to hope this is all actually going to lead up to Conor McGregor showing up somehow and punching Jericho in the face like Mikey did back in WrestleMania 25.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke, you mean?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Well, yeah. Bottom line, I think we're done with the American Top Team saga. For what it was, at least it was entertaining from a crowd standpoint.
At least we got Dan Lambert trashing everybody.
Yeah.
Natural heel.
I'm pretty sure he still should reference the company in New York in Stanford. Just to
he should have.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me though if we do still hear from that potato face fool on this upcoming Dynamite.
You mean that fat face dip beep?
Yeah, that.
Let's move on to the main event.
All right. Let's seriously, folks. Real talk. real time here. Now, I've already talked all night. Eric, you're leading this thing off. Main event, Heyman and Page versus Kenny Omega. 2+ years, some would say in the Omega, but it's much more longer than that. Take it away.
Okay, I would like to first start off. This guy, Kenny Omega, has been champion for 346 days. We can all agree on that. He's also been having hip issues, leg issues, shoulder injuries, vertigo for since 2018. Chiropractic adjustment had to confirm that. Let's see. He cut himself multiple times with the belts. Let's see. He got himself into an extreme death match, wrestling matches, like several times while working extremely hurt. Had to do stem cells just to improve himself, and has now reached a point with his shoulders where he can't lift heavy weights anymore, apparently. And he said he has to wrestle out his shoulders, essentially. And this guy still went out and said, I'm going to still be the best Bat Machine until I'm done with this reign. Then I'm going to be on break, hopefully.
Please, for the love of God, before you say anything else, Kenny Omega, you are by far the greatest professional wrestler today. Thank you for everything. Give your damn body and mind a break. Thank you, Cleaner.
346 days. You have carried us through the pandemic. You have represented this company.
One more thing. That's including him working both AEW, Impact, and AAA.
Continue,
exactly. Thank you for giving us your 346 days of carrying us through this pandemic starting December 2nd of 2020 and winter is coming. Also representing this company in Impact. Also representing this company while working AAA. Thank you for giving us fans of showing us why you are the best bout machine, the pro wrestling's 2-time wrestler of the year, and also the Cleaner. Thank you so much. Now, after December, get your dadgum rest after Triple Mania, please.
Okay, now, Eric, you may continue talking about the actual match.
This entry, I did mention this in my video. I really wish I did. What would Coda think? And Kenny looks at that.
And he looked at it with a death stare.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be the moment Hangman kicks out. And it's like, oh, you didn't even do it. I wanted to see it. But now they said, yeah, I was hoping for that. But now I'm like, so wait, they decided to have Omega and Ibushi be the only ones to kick out the One Wing Angel? Symbolism!
Yes, because the Golden Lovers are united across time and space itself when it comes to their passion and outlook for professional wrestling. Continue.
And okay, the fact that this has been the company's biggest inceptional storyline since it all started at AEW on being the elite, at that press conference, all the way leading up to All Out 2019. Then we got the tag team run. Then that ended at All Out 2020, and an event that should have been way better, but sadly almost got happened by tragedy, sadly. Then went through a drinking problem. And then I was like, and then when I watched Tranquilo Club's video about it, Tranquilo. I finally was like, oh my God, I think I now get what the story was actually about. It was about self-abuse and alcoholism and having a support system to get your confidence back up there. And I was like, this sounds like something that WWE wanted to do with Hawk, but they fucked it up badly back in 98.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But instead, they decided to just have it on their programming and do it like way more tasteful and not be over excessive with it. And like having Hangman conquer his demons and giving Kenny Omega the final boss vibe he always wanted out of all this. And the Young Bucks coming out after Hangman vowed that if you get involved and stop me, I will ruin you both, after apologizing for all the fallout between them and saying that they're even, which is a big highlight on that. And then people point something out about Hangman defeating Kenny Omega. He won the title, everyone. Hooray. Yes, we did it, everybody. There's something that people pointed out about the Young Bucks not interfering. They said this is literally mirroring what happened when Kenny did not interfere on Kota Ibushi when he fought AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Except whereas Kota lost to AJ Styles at the end because he had a momentary distraction, Hangman wins and defeats Kenny Omega.
And again, you remember what Heyman said on the contract signing in Dynamite, talking about Kota Ibushi, and it may have seemed you may have surpassed him.
Yeah, and now it's like they decide to integrate Kota and Kenny's history. They decide to integrate New Japan, Bullet Club, Ring of Honor, all the history they've had with Bullet Club. And you got to remember, Hangman started out being a teacher to teenagers. God help him.
God help teachers. We don't have enough of them.
Now he's world champion for the quote #1 wrestling promotion on the planet, while the other one sports entertainment.
Yeah.
King, anything to say?
Man, and since we're touching on a lot of stuff here, I was watching a certain clip from BTE, and this is when Matt and Nick were still holding the AEW World Tag Team titles, and I was watching that clip that somebody posted on Twitter earlier today, and I watched that clip, and remember when Matt and Hangman were feuding at the time earlier this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out Matt was the one that was using Hangman's phone to send out the text that started all of this.
Yeah.
And Matt,
is one more thing I forgot to mention. And when I learned this, I was like, oh my God, why can't WWE be like this? So remember when Hangman went to apologize to the Young Bucks for his behavior all this time?
Yes.
Yep.
He's wearing the same outfit when they kicked him out.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
He's wearing the same shirt.
The same shirt.
And also, since we touched, remember on the episode of BT that the Elite were celebrating, and then Hangman
they had
was
all the gold and
the
Heyman's just on the outside. Yeah.
In that same clip, that was Matt walking doing the same thing when Hangman won that chip in the casino. Won the chip, and the Dark Order was celebrating. Matt was just standing there like this while Hangman was celebrating, and it made me wonder. I was like, wow,
perspective,
reflection. Exactly. And then when Matt nodded, I even said I was going to see how Matt nodded at Adam. And it kind of makes you wonder, now that the Elite have went back to that Wrestle Kingdom vibe and lost both of their matches, are we finally going to see basically dissension? Because everybody's saying, oh, Adam is slowly taking over the Elite. But also, Kyle O'Reilly's contract is coming up next month, but also Adam put the hit on Jungle Boy by using Bobby Fish. Could we also see the Elite versus the UE at AEW?
Okay, here's the thing. I didn't watch it, but I kept hearing about it. Apparently, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish teased it this week on BTE.
I watched BTE today.
That Civil War is about to erupt.
You saw the Young Bucks and Adam Cole sitting in the locker room together after the Falls Count Anywhere. But you also saw two other things. You saw the thumbnail before you even hit the dang clip, and you saw that long walk of Kenny Omega by himself.
So that leads me to think. The Young Bucks are probably going to be on their own for a little bit because Kenny has got to take time off.
For the love of God, Kenny, I hope you walk away to seriously rest. I don't think he needs to be involved on all Elite content in any way for an extended period of time. He's done more professional wrestling in the last year than anybody has in the industry's history, I think.
Since 2018, when all these injuries started to happen.
And you gotta remember, heading into this, Kenny was working hurt, like real bad.
Messed up shoulder.
Like they said, he can lift up a bar. He can lift up a bar, which is 45 pounds, according to Dave Meltzer. He was the one that talked to him about it. And Kenny's like, I can't lift heavy weights. I can
There you
wrestle
go.
out my shoulders.
There you go. And yeah, he tried to do the
I'm pretty
one-wing
sure
angel
Kenny
during the
is
match.
that living embodiment of that guy from that movie from the I can't remember which the movie was, but he keeps bouncing around while his arms and legs are cut off, saying he's just a flesh wound.
I know that clip. I've heard that clip. I'm not even a movie going. I've heard that clip. But yeah, and another thing to think about, when Kenny Omega was wrestling, it's like, again, he's on autopilot. He drowns out all of that. He literally is just there to literally give you the best possible Kenny Omega and wrestling match and story he can too. And this was an incredible thing. You really wondered, 2 years as far as AEW goes in the making, was this match going to hold up towards what they were building? I really think it did. They put out all the spots. Yes, they were vocal, as you said, Eric. We saw innovation. We saw very intense head-on collisions. Those ridiculous backdrop drivers. I'm pretty sure Kenny Omega landed on his head more on his than the Hangman did when Kenny Omega delivered his. V-triggers galore, and at one point those Kawada kicks fired up. The Heyman says, "Is that all you got, you fucker?" And he literally kept on just like turning it up another intensity. And as you alluded to, they didn't do the one-wing angel spot where Kenny Omega delivered to Hangman, and I think it's because of what you said, but Hangman delivered to Omega, and now Omega is the only guy besides Ibushi to kick out of literally his own finisher. And in the end, when it was the Bucks that came down, you saw Nick on one side, did not, he came close, didn't do anything though. Buckshot led to the back of Omega's neck. And then Matt, like you said, the subtle nod. It's like, this needs to happen. This is it. I forgive you. To the emotional journey those two have had against each other more than anybody else in the elite. That final buckshot lariat, and a cowboy finally got the crown. By the way, subtle spot. Aubrey Edwards, I think you got better cardio than Charles Robinson. That being said, this was a wild, crazy, physical, incredibly emotional main event match with wild perspective entrance on both. When I think about the way Kenny Omega came out, it gave me shades of Wrestle Kingdom 13, where he just closed his eyes and looked up. And it's like, I'm literally seeing the continuity here. Did I not freaking tell you? But bottom line is this. That was an incredible main event match. And what a way to end the saga of AEW. What's the next saga to come? You and I, we got a ton of different ideas.
I already got the next saga in mind.
Only time's going to tell. With that being said, I also got to wonder, after the match, you saw Kenny Omega and Hangman. They were down, but they were sharing words with each other. This felt as like an endpoint as much as The Rock and Stone Cold did back at WrestleMania.
I was gonna say that comparison was made, and then also people mentioned that they did this last year at Full Gear with Kenny doing it to Hangman.
Exactly. And also, like somebody brought up on Twitter to my attention, it's like this was chapter 1 of AEW.
Exactly.
And I kind of agree that is chapter 1. What's chapter 2 awaits us? And also,
I know what chapter 2 is going to bring. I have a theory.
Well, you usually have a theory. Ahead. You're not for sure, but you have a theory. Go for it.
Okay, if the Elite is fully breaking down, like the Young Bucks have basically all but turned on Kenny, Adam Cole clearly has plans for his own desires. So I'm pretty sure a power vacuum is going to start forming in AEW with all the other factions trying to claw it. Hangman's going to have to be desperate to keep his title intact. And you got to also mention, and remember, Matt Hardy's waiting in the shadows, and he'll think he deserves the title because, hey, I got you. I made you.
Yes, because Big Money Matt and Heyman and Page faced us at Revolution, a big money match this year.
And he's the one that set the seeds to destroy the Elite within initially with the phone text.
Yep.
So I would feel like Matt Hardy's going to try and do stuff to try and convince Hangman, give me the belt. And, it's going to end with him getting spit in the face in buckshot lariat.
Well, it's ironic you mentioned that as well, because as we saw in AEW Dark Elevation, fun show tonight, by the way, we saw the Dark Order take on the Hardy family office. And we all know the Dark Order is friends with the Heyman. And the fact that the Heyman did not take the drink anymore. Shout out to John Monks, of course, recovering also from alcoholism too. Yeah. Again, you got to wonder how close-knit now the Dark Order and Heyman and Page are going to be going forward too.
And also, Tony Khan revealed...
sorry.
Also, I was about to say before I let you continue that Tony Khan revealed to Dave Meltzer that Meltzer reported that this Hangman and Kenny saga is halfway done. He said that last night. We're halfway done.
Halfway?
Halfway.
What?
So
I think that's
Kenny's
what
not taking time off. Damn it.
Oh God, Kenny.
Kenny, you're gonna fucking kill yourself if you don't take time off.
Well, to
damn
be
it.
fair, didn't Will Ospreay said, I want to leave a legendary career myself, even if it kills me? I think Kenny Omega's trying to surpass that.
Probably. So, but
if
the
I had to
fucking
guess,
guy's gonna take it
here's what I
fucking
think
easy.
someone should at least reference on AEW programming.
I could see maybe Kenny Omega showing up one more time and just saying, good job, Hangman, I'm proud of you, but being like legit, because that was the words that really defined this year-long story in the first place as they sum up the contract signing. But Kenny Omega does not need to do anything else physical, in my opinion, for a long damn time.
If Kenny is still going to feud with Hangman and probably head this into Revolution, I'm pretty certain I know what could set Kenny off with all the injuries he's having. If Hangman or someone could go for the low blow and say, you know what you are? Listen, you're working hurt, your knees are broken. You're like that other guy you hate.
Oh boy.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
The ace.
And I'm pretty sure Kenny would be like, you take that back, you son of a...
Because we know legitimately that Tanahashi and Omega can't stand each other. But that being said,
imagine if they remember when CM Punk called out Cena and said, "You have become the New York Yankees
and Cena's hometown of Boston."
Now imagine if someone told Kenny Omega, "You have become what you hate. You are now Hiroshi Tanahashi," and Kenny just loses it.
Oh shit. That also leads me to this question though about the Elite, because that's definitely the main subject of tonight. All Elite Wrestling was defined by the Elite. They were the group, the top guys, no pun intended. Now they're in the most vulnerable state they've ever been in, shattered physically, and I would think at this point, mentally too, and definitely emotionally. So how will they proceed going forward? As you said, there's now what feels like a power vacuum, and will a new era come in and take over and go after their spot first? Or is there something else in the wings coming after that too? There's a lot of change coming in AEW, and it's very
but
intriguing.
I do know I think I know what's going to happen down the road. This is my theory based on what happened at Full Gear's opening match.
MJF.
Hangman is only holding the crown for its Imperator to take.
Because the Dark Order and the Pinnacle and its new alliances will try and go to war in the name of claiming the ultimate gold for MJF. I can see MJF versus Hangman starting to build at Double or Nothing next year. Because remember, the inaugural Double or Nothing, that Casino Battle Royale, and the title was presented. They were the final two. As far as the actual match itself, the Full Gear name is defined by the Hangman. Are we looking at another reign that's literally less than a year-long too?
Who knows?
Only time will tell.
He will get if MJ dethrones Hangman and ends the fairy tale.
And that heat will be nuclear.
And what causes or who causes that to happen? Again, guys, AEW leaves us wanting more, and we have no idea what's in store. And that's what we
I have another idea.
That's why we're talking. Go for it.
I have an idea who MJF should lose it to after he dethrones Hangman and has a Roman level reign of terror.
Oh Lord.
Let's see. The spoiled 1% prince with $1 million check takes on the lower class bum of Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. Yes.
Like it's a classic common man versus the $1 million man, essentially.
Yep.
And the promos that those two would share.
If we thought that Punk and Kingston promo was something, wait till we get MJF and Kingston on the mic. Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
But Hangman right now has got to
Jesus.
focus on Brian
Brian
Danielson.
Danielson. That's right. That is
Yo.
his first challenger. And the Heyman right now still taking it all in. You saw his statement he released on AEW. You heard the post media scrum.
that.
And you also heard
what he
Yep.
said.
you heard the post show thing he said. I'm gonna tell you a lie right now. I am gonna keep this forever. I feel like the Heyman right now truly doesn't know how to feel, but knows he wants to feel like this. And I think we're in for an incredible reign to come. Congratulations
did
to
you
him
see
and
his
Adam
release
Page.
statement he
Yes.
did?
Yeah,
You saw it?
I saw the release statement. You want to start highlighting it? Go for it.
Hey man, Adam Page is declaring this Wednesday as the first National Cowboy Day. The celebration's live from his home state of Virginia this week. Let's see. He will also be going on a vegan diet to prepare for his fight with Brian Danielson. So he'll probably go ahead and so if I had to take a guess, if I had to take a guess, he's going to start making weird, disturbing fetishes that make Brian look sane.
Oh
No.
Lord.
No, don't do no.
No.
But there is something he does mention that kind of plants the seeds for the Pinnacle to come after him. He says, Hangman Page will welcome all the challenges as AEW sees fit, but please God, don't make him fight Wardlow.
Yeah, but
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
And Wardlow re-quoted that tweet with a thinking emoji.
I mean, it did take two buckshot layers to drop that warhead down for a 3-on-2 to advance in the tournament.
But now it's like, okay, you're playing the scene, Hangman. The Pinnacle's coming after you. A matter of not.
But here's the thing. He said Wardlow. What if Wardlow gets the first shot against the Heyman before MJF? And you further tease that dissension with those two.
Yeah, but here's what I'm thinking. Wardlow's about to accept it, and MJF, I humbly accept this on behalf of the Pinnacle.
Yes, because I'm the Pinnacle's leader. Yes, I see him totally doing that. And then Wardlow is not gonna. Wardlow might actually nod or actually say something, and then MJF's gonna tirade him, further planting the seeds for this nuclear bomb to go off where Wardlow
if I had to guess what's gonna happen, this is what should happen. MJF accepts this position. Hangman just says, "Nah, what does Wardlow think?" And Wardlow's about to speak and say, "Well, he's perfectly all right with it."
Yep, that's exactly what I see.
Yep.
That's exactly what I can see.
And then okay. Here's the best way to describe it. If MJF is the one that dethrones Hangman and ends the fairy tale and pisses everyone off, okay, I know I'm gonna make this odd comparison, but I would actually kind of want to see Wardlow be like what the Giant did to Hogan when he got kicked out of the NWO, where Wardlow just strangles him by the throat and demands a title shot, and then MJF just like, "You got it, man, you got it."
Yeah, right, because he doesn't know what he's unleashed. Because I feel MJF is showing that trepidation that he knows if Wardlow turns on him, he's in deep shit.
Yeah, and then if MJF does form the super faction with the House of Black, El Idolo, and everything, and by extension the Vicky Guerrero group, because Vicky is managing FTR and AAA for the tag title representation.
That is true.
So, and then MJF orders everyone to just kick Wardlow's ass, and they go and like. And then MJF goes up, acts like he's commentator, and does what Bischoff did when the NWO attacked Goldberg, say, "Shazam! By golly, Jay Willikers!"
Again, callbacks. And then Wardlow comes back and destroys everybody, or is out to destroy everybody. I feel we're literally booking AEW 2022, where Tony Khan said,
in fact, I think we also booked 23 as well.
Well, maybe the early part of 23.
With the Eddie Kingston stuff.
But we also don't know who else might show up in AEW, which is why I'm just going to subtly say this in closing. Full Gear, I think, was pay-per-view of the year, and Jay Lethal, welcome to AEW.
Yeah, some people are still bugged about that. People are still bugged about that.
Why?
Well,
because he was one of the people last year.
Part of that movement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing people pointed out about the media call. about the media scrum.
Yeah.
No one asked Tony Khan, hey, do you have any allegations about what came out about him? Whereas Triple H was given that same reception from people, but they didn't do it for AEW. And everyone was like, yeah, why didn't you say anything to AEW when you would have the balls to say to Triple H?
I don't know. Maybe they think that he finally like fessed up. Like maybe Lethal like cleared up. We don't know.
There was never an update on that. So
there was never an update.
They're not going to talk about it.
See, that's the thing. They're not going to talk about. So for all we know, is it disclosed or is it still something? Because here's the thing: what the world doesn't know is dangerous. What the world does know is also dangerous. You're screwed either way. It's a catch-22. But at this point, if Lethal is involved in the one company right now that is right now the cleanest demonstration of a locker room and political system, that is AEW, I'm going to roll with it.
Right now, morale is said to be very, very freaking high.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly
as well
right.
As it should be.
While the other place is
happens.
probably having a morale issue of, oh my God, who's next? Going to be fired.
Well, that's because
in AEW, everybody treats everybody like family.
Family.
Don't start that.
Okay, Dom Toretto.
Wait. I think I just remembered something. Hold on. While you're talking, let me find it.
Okay, because I'm just going to say this. We now know what's ahead for Wednesday as we look at what's next as we get closer to the new year, as we look at the fallout from Full Gear. We got a TNT title match with Jay Lethal's in-ring debut against Sammy Guevara. That's going to be a good bout. We have the TBS tournament continuing where Hikaru Shida will take on Nyla Rose again. Will Nyla Rose overcome Hikaru Shida this time, or will the Bushido Fine Spirit once again overcome the Native Beast? Will Serena Deeb play a factor as Bryan Danielson continues to fight every freaking week because he wants to, or excuse me, wrestle? He takes on Evil Uno. Dante Martin, who we didn't talk about at all, will team once again with Leo Rush, who's back after a family incident. My best and deepest condolences to you, brother. Taking on the Acclaimed, and I think that's right. We also have Chaos involved because the Butcher and the Blade in a dream match for the Butcher and for me takes on freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and fucking Stone Pitbull and new spoiler alert, new never openweight champion. Thank God. Tomohiro Ishii.
Okay.
Let's fucking go.
Two things about that. You want to know something?
What?
Butcher was actually set to do something else on Wednesday. He wasn't, but when he got told, "Hey, we're bringing in the Stone Pitbull to fight you guys," and the Butcher was like,
"Yep, I'm going. Hey, get my bags. This is a dream opponent, a dream match for the Butcher. And you know how much I love the Butcher, man. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. A guy from Puerto Monaco and can beat people up in the ring. So damn glad. The Butcher and Ishii, I want the singles now. Just give me the damn match. I'm so damn excited."
And two, I just found out, I just had to look this up just to remind myself. Speaking of when we were doing the Vin Diesel reference, MJF actually called out Vin Diesel.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, it gets worse. You want to know who he also called out inadvertently?
Oh, no. Who?
Ooh.
He also called out The Rock. When he was talking about Vin Diesel and Dwayne's issues with each other and the apology Vin Diesel gave. And I was like, MJF, you're calling down the lightning.
Yeah, literally. That's one person you're never going to out-promo. I don't give a damn who you are.
I mean, like, CM Punk has to out-promo The Rock.
He tried his best.
Jaws are just too short to box with God.
Yeah, and then The Rock basically just dropped that boy. Again, the immortal promo. It's the fucking Rock.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The Rock, you can never try to out-debate The Rock or out-talk The Rock because
actually, I'm pretty sure
consider that
John
a
Cena
losing
did
battle.
as well.
You tried that for a year, Eric.
Let me tell you something. They made The Rock look fucking weak against John Cena in promos. They made Rock look like a watered-down version Rock. Because
not only that, but the New Day too.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The Rock in his Attitude Era form, if this was the Attitude Era fucking Rock, Cena in the New Day would be flat out crying on the floor due to how brutal the Rock was on the mic.
He'd just be less speechless with that stupid face and just walk away. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we definitely hit a milestone. I do want to say one more thing. Dante Martin, the sky, well, no pun intended. The sky's the limit for this guy, as now everybody wants to book this man, including Team Taz, who we didn't mention was Sully just looking on, it seemed, from a skybox during all of Full Gear while Ricky Starks was using the FTW towel at one point.
Also, I gotta ask.
Go for it.
Let's see. You mentioned limits. Bask in his glory.
I'm just waiting.
Dante Martin.
Okay, now you've gone crazy.
Look, I'm only going crazy enough. Okay, I can go crazier if I wanted to.
Oh, I know you can, Eric.
Oh, we know you can.
Dante Martin versus Will Ospreay versus Keith Lee triple threat.
Okay,
NJPW.
All right.
Looking for Dominion next year.
Here's another one. Here's another one. I just thought about this.
Oh, that's a
Fatal four-way. Okada, Cody Ibushi, Jay White, Dante Martin.
Nah, I got something crazier.
Oh Lord, here we go again.
Prince Devitt, Jay White, Kenny Omega, AJ Styles.
Oh, here we go.
And that is your wrestling debate. That is your wrestling utopia. Okay, guys. Bottom line is this. Stop that. Anyway, as we close, I simply am going to say this. Full Gear, you once again, 2 years in a row, have been my pay-per-view of the year. Does anyone have any closing comments before we close out this ATW View?
Okay, Tony Khan addressed another thing. Okay, remember how people have been downplaying Rampage since it's been losing viewership or just breaking?
Yeah.
Well, Tony Khan came out and said TNT's happy with it. They knew what we were going into.
Duh.
Oh,
yeah.
and guess what he decides to say? When I heard this, I was like, oh, you really should have not done that. Hold on, let me find it. This is what he said. And when I heard this, I was like, dude, you're unleashing Pandora's box with that comment. He said this. So yeah, it's funny, but the weeks that the Fast Nationals don't leak, it's always pretty good numbers. I wonder why. I wonder who leaks them. That's subjective on their part.
Oh.
We all know what's happening, but I don't think it's particular to their benefit.
Tony Khan,
I was like, dude.
All he cares about is pushing professional wrestling forward. Keep doing what you're doing.
So he's calling the group of people in charge.
Well, to be fair, don't we call out the multiple times?
The man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And
we're not talking about Becky Lynch. In fact, Becky's awesome. I wish Becky would one day show up in AEW. There, I said it.
I just wish that she could.
I'm still saying 2018 Becky Lynch versus 2021 Britt Baker. Imagine the cutthroatness.
Bayley versus Britt Baker. Where's Bayley been? I know she's still injured, but think about Bayley versus Britt.
I know. Also, I'll have something to talk about a little bit after the video's done.
Okay, so I guess that's about a good point. So, King, any closing thoughts? As my monitor went off too.
Thank you AEW for giving us good professional wrestling as you've always done for the past 2 years. Thank you so much, and thank you for making Full Gear once again being one of the best pay-per-views of all time and closing out the big four of the pay-per-views as we look forward to February. Thank you very much.
Actual big four instead of the other one that just did on Twitter.
That other big four don't count. That one's useless nowadays.
I mean, there's another big four that I would put in that class. And that is definitely Impact Wrestling, and I can't wait to see what they have in 2022.
Turning Point.
Yep, 5 title matches. That's all we got so far for Turning Point, just the title matches. I'm already ready for this. Casey, any closing thoughts regarding AEW Full Gear?
AEW, all I want to say is thank you very much for giving us a hell of a pay-per-view in Full Gear on Saturday night. Because that
Yes,
was,
thank you for being back on Saturdays. Thank you for
was
Yeah,
that.
thank
a
God it's back on
straight,
Saturday. Oy.
that was a straight masterpiece of a pay-per-view in Full Gear. And this is not going to be the only masterpiece that we've seen wrestling world, because there's going to be a lot more phenomenal pay-per-views coming from AEW down the road. And when you get down to it, AEW and Tony Khan officially put professional wrestling first.
Glory to those two words.
Okay, guys, I got something. I just got something.
Unlike the last,
Okay,
I'm not even going to mention the other promotion in Stanford. Unlike the last promotion in Stanford that puts professional wrestling last and makes a mockery of it.
To be fair, they don't even say. To be fair, they don't even say the words. I don't think you should be either. But anyway.
Because they consider it
Okay,
a dirty word.
guys, before we end this, I just got a question. Casey, where are you at?
Where am I at?
North Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay. Okay, Casey, you definitely need to go to North Carolina on November 27th.
Again.
Again.
Yeah, what show is that?
All Elite Wrestling.
Cage Super Show Revenge. There's a reason for it. Okay, Casey, you want to know what's going to happen at Wrestle Cage Super Show Revenge in North Carolina?
Oh, WrestleCade as well.
What is that?
Oh, WrestleCade.
They're going to have Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa versus
Mercedes Martinez.
And this just got announced. Buddy Matthews versus Malachi Black.
What?
What? Damn.
Now they just opened the Forbidden Door to WrestleCade.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Sometimes I hate the fact that I can't take off days of my job to go travel to see pro wrestling. You know that, right?
Exactly.
Definitely think about it on November 27th.
It's at Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem, North NC, 11/27.
I'll definitely think about that when the time comes.
I'll just watch it on freaking flights.
I could send
definitely Yeah, just
gentlemen, we've
send
all
a
been,
card to the chat.
we've all been part of history one way or another this year at live professional wrestling events, and also before. It's only going to continue to happen in 2022, and I do hope inevitably we all meet up, maybe at All Out, where I already said that's what I plan on doing next year too in Chicago. And that being said, we're definitely going to work on, like I said, folks, what I proposed, the ATW Awards. We'll talk more about that privately. But I think that's a good way to conclude this fun series once again. So thank you all for tuning in once again to another enjoyably engaging all elite heavily edition of the ATW View. For the newsman himself, Eric, for the preacher man, Case Flynn, for the all elite King Anthony, I am the Superman Noah Foster. Simply telling you, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Take care and adieu. We'll see you next time for another ATW View. Goodbye and good night.